gaining a friend, made their way back south. Oh my god.
What is it?
Motherfucker.
Wow, that's been a while.
Marisha, look, it's your husband.
Everything you do, have done, or will do.
So good.
Step 2. I'm gonna take my gun.
Your what?
Oh, I stole a gun. You weren't there for that?
No, that was on the way out of Hupperduke. They weren't there for
I
that.
stole a gun!
You got a gun?
I stole a gun from a guard. I've got one bullet.
Yeah, just like one round, like single shot, flintlock type
Fuck me,
thing.
man. I will blow you away, motherfucker. Unless I miss. And then it's just... I'd like you to help me forge a letter.
Okay.
I'd like it to sound like it's from some sort of legal entity or law firm or court or something like that.
I'll use like something like Esquire or something in there. That sounds very...
Yes.
Okay.
And I'd like to... could you not tell Caleb about this?
Secrets?
It's a secret.
I'm really good at keeping secrets.
All right.
Okay.
I'd like it to read something like...
Okay.
I'm going to be sending it to the Solstice Academy.
I know about that. That's where Ford wants to go.
Yes.
Are we writing this for Ford?
No.
Okay.
It's in Rexentrum.
Solstice. Yes, I know where it is.
Solstice.
Solstice Academy.
The Soul Train Academy.
Solstice Academy.
That's a good way to remember it.
Academy. Something like, greetings, hello. To whom it may concern.
To whom it may concern.
I am trying to reach a young lady
Okay.
named Astrid, no last name given, who was
Do I say that? No last name given?
Yes.
Okay.
who was a student about 11 years ago at your academy. She has inherited a bit of money from a distant relative, her uncle Leonard Hyphen.
Leonard Hyphen? Hyphen what?
I don't... Leonard Hyphen Leonard.
Leonard Hyphen Leonard. Got it.
From the town of Nigeria.
Got it.
And his estate... his estate has employed me to find her. His estate has employed me to find her in order to deliver the funds.
Vast sums of money. Right. The funds. Okay.
Please reach out to her. Reach out to me with her...
Wait, oh, shit. You... Now I've got to write it again because you said it wrong. Hold on.
You were writing as I was saying. All right.
I'm really fast.
Please reach out to me with her last known contact information or address. You can write me in care of the Pillow Trove Hotel.
That's a real fancy one. Okay.
Attention. I don't know. Attention what? Mrs. Jester.
No.
Mrs. Dr. Jester.
Mrs. Lavore Esquire.
Mrs. Lavore Esquire.
Okay.
It off towards its destination in Rexentrum.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Please don't tell Caleb, he might get upset. I just think that this is someone from his past who might be able to, make him think of happier times.
Astrid?
Yes.
That's the name he said to me when we were dancing. Did you know?
No.
Yes, we were dancing, we were waltzing. It was really lovely. He was very, very, very drunk.
Yes, I remember
And
that
then
night.
he said something about Astrid.
He misses her.
Was it his girlfriend?
I think so. I don't know which way he swings, but yeah, he could really get any girl he wanted to if that's
He's very handsome, especially when he shaves. You can see that the little butt chin he has. It's really nice.
It's nice. Well, I hope it works.
Me too.
And scene.
All right.
Depending on how much of a purchase you're looking to make. What are you looking for?
Well, I need,
I think I've forgotten that silly story.
I need...
I'm thinking I'm...
I mean, we should get that, right?
Yeah, no, I think I want that.
I can't. Long swords aren't simple weapons, so I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I like broken things.
I want the cloak.
It's a nice place you got here.
Thank you very much. Welcome to Sovo's Secrets.
Are you Suvos?
Yes, who are you?
I am Jester.
Chester. What are you looking for that I might be helping you with?
Secrets. Oh, what
And
else?
diamonds,
That was diamonds.
probably.
Diamonds and secrets.
Yeah.
Secret diamonds.
Leans forward and her hands hit the front of her knees, and leaning back, she looks very small, but when she kind of steps into the little bit of light that's coming through the front of the tent, Suvo's a fairly large dragonborn, and even just leaning forward, sitting, is almost as tall as you are, Jester.
Whoa.
Diamonds, you say?
Yes.
How many diamonds are you looking for?
How many do you have?
Maybe 12.
That's a lot of
That
diamonds.
sounds like a lot of diamonds. Are they big diamonds or little diamonds? I don't
Reaches
know.
back and there's this large, it looks just like a sack, like a just general sack that she reaches and grabs the edge and scoots it over without breaking eye contact and scrapes across the ground, and you hear things clattering around inside like she's carrying a large pouch of various pots and pans, just grabs and pulls the sack back over.
Did you just have the sack, the one bag in the
Yeah,
shop?
the tables are all empty.
So cool.
And there is just a sack where she keeps all of the goods.
All of her secrets.
I love it.
Oh, I get it now. That's great.
Reaches in and pulls out what looks to be like a mummified creature's hand. It's not quite humanoid, it's got fur on it. Sets it down. This is a treated owlbear matron hand.
I don't know what that is, but that's really cool.
Wow.
25 gold is a good keepsake.
Okay.
Reaches in, pulls out a batch of garlic. Just a big old batch of garlic in like a small netted sack. And goes like,
You want some garlic?
garlic, good for cooking and also for keeping away vampires.
Okay.
No mask.
How much for the mask?
You don't know where that's been.
I know.
5 gold.
Ooh. 3 gold.
Make a persuasion check.
No. 7.
5 gold.
Deal.
Be careful. They say the curse lasts for whoever. I don't remember the rest of it. It's just a mask. There's no enchantment. It's just a very scary mask. But congratulations, it's yours. And right there at the steps is Kree. The dark-furred tabaxi. She approaches and goes, I'm sorry to bother you. I noticed you descend here. I have heard since your last arrival that there were losses in your journey. Well, I have had a number of uncomfortable dreams in the week, and I cannot sense Lucien.
Tell me about these dreams.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, God. That's good. 18.
18. They're cold and sad. I just see him alone. And I've tried to focus. He's not nearby. I have a very hollow feeling about this.
God, why was I gone for 6 weeks? Okay. Yes, unfortunately, your dreams may have some merit. I myself was missing for most of our journey, and it seems unfortunately that Lucian befell a terrible fate.
That was what I was fearing.
I'm sorry to be the one to let you know. If I was there, I could give you more detail, but I found out much in the same way you are.
That is all right. Thank you for your honesty. It is hard for him to be gone for so long, then come back, and so swiftly go again. I put too much faith.
You said he left before and then came back. If you don't mind my asking, the last time that he left, do you remember the circumstances of his departure?
Well, we of the task takers, we were undergoing a ritual that he had orchestrated with an ally of his, woman of magical renown. He said that this was something that was meant to lead us to this city. He promised a place where we could learn of great many powers and secrets. We believed him. He was very charismatic in his cruelty at times. But he did not survive.
And then you saw him here for the first time in quite a while, yes?
2 years.
2 years. 2 years. Are you, and forgive me if this is too personal, are you expecting to see him again?
I wasn't expecting to see him this last time. I just feel like whatever grace brought him back to us, maybe it was your carelessness that took him from us again.
Indeed, maybe it was. You have my apologies and my condolences.
It is all right. I've started a new life here, and it has been serving me well.
I hate to leave you with such sour news, but I must be going.
Such are these days. Thank you for your candor. I do appreciate your artwork.
I think he looks better now.
You're improving. Keep meeting new people. Tell them of what we have accomplished. We want more friends, don't we?
So many.
Do you think I could have a look at that strange relic?
Which one? We've kind of found a lot of relics.
The one that you procured from that Jorhassian warrior.
Oh, the box? Yeah, of course. I dig into the haversack and I show it to him.
Extends it and just takes it and looks to it for a moment.
What do you think it is?
You see kind of the side of the mouth of the traveler curl into an amused smirk. Curious. Curious indeed.
They said something about having babies or something with it. I can't remember.
I don't think I've ever come across magic like that.
What kind of magic is it?
I don't know. I have not come across it before. I'm interested, definitely. Be careful with that. Things that are unknown are notably able to draw dangerous and inquiring eyes and minds.
So I should keep it hidden.
I think you should.
I'll keep it in this pink bag. It's very discreet.
There are more like you out there.
I saw a couple of medallions for you.
Well, I am worth worshipping after all.
Obviously.
But you are my favorite.
I was going to ask if I was.
I hope that maybe you could all meet someday.
I would love that. I, of course, will be the leader of your worship, obviously.
Perhaps sometime next year. For the day of the Zenith. In Undalar. Yes, I think that.
I'm writing it in my sketchbook. Will you tell them, and then I'll meet them there?
They all speak to me.
Okay. Wow. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you, Traveler.
The hand kind of reaches out and touches yours, and there's you can feel the contact, but it's strangely cold. Kind of blink, and Traveler's gone.
Want to know?
Is there any of this that you have not shared yet?
I don't believe so. I did tell Molly before we were taken about a crewmate of mine named Sapphire. He was the one that ambushed the ship that caused the explosion that threw me overboard. The one that probably sent Vandrin to his fate. And after I woke up on the shore afterwards, I found the sword, and I wasn't quite sure where I was. I found a road and managed to hitch a ride back towards Port Damali, and when I got there, I went to Vandrin's storehouse, and I planned to go through his things. I was more high up on the crew than Sabian was, but his place had been ransacked, gone through, torn through, and there was a local butcher that next door that I walked into, and he had said that he was glad to see at least one other of us, that no one else had returned. And I said, well, who was the other one? And he had said Sabian. So I feel like he somehow survived. He knows what happened, why it happened. And I can't bear the thought of something happening to me because I'm pursuing this, and I summon the sword.
You see as the blade now is this unique merger of the falchion shape and size, but now holds the golden tint of the Summer's Dance. It curves towards the edge and has kind of the slight pointed, jagged arch in the back that the scimitar had previously held, but still contains the barnacle-encrusted pattern across the hilt, and there in the center still is the central yellow gleaming eye.
So we were in the storm. He ran below decks and he placed a bundle next to a lot of the crates that we were shipping. That was unusual for him, so I followed him down and I saw him with a lantern in his hand. And when he turned, he had lit what looked like a fuse. I called out, he threw a few daggers at me, they hit. I went down, he ran past me, and just as I made my way back above decks, I called his name and I saw him at the bow of the ship, and it looked like he was preparing to jump overboard, which in a storm like that is insane. And that's when the explosion hit. It ripped into my back, it threw me over, and I remember going underwater and seeing parts of the ship fall in flames above the water, and I could see things falling, and some of it was cargo and some of it looked like me.
It feels in a weird way like you're...
It's good.
I'm just turning it down.
Patrons everywhere.
We're role-playing, Marisha.
so giggle.
Like, why?
Actually, I'm with Bo now. I want to know your favorite one you've ever seen.
Yeah, what's your best dick?
My best dick.
Just pick
If
one.
it's too hard to pick, you can do top 3.
Okay. Honestly, I saw Molly's when we were in the bathhouse.
Was it? We must have all seen it, but
Tattoo?
how did it
Reminding
compare?
everyone that we have all seen each other naked.
Molly's was pretty good.
In terms of being just giant or just like well proportioned, symmetrical?
Really nice, and it was a good color.
Only because when I saw it last, it was a bit of a mess. It was a little bit Egg McMuffin, if you know what I'm saying.
That's right.
I appreciate that. They stand up and leave a few coins on the table.
Oh, no, we got this one. This one's on us. Your money's no good here. I'll fucking kill you if you try to pay!
Right, okay, all right. They take the coins, pulls on the reins, and with that, you guys begin to make your exit from Allfield a second time.
That's some black magic right there.
I do that for way too long on the road.
Sacrifice running. You gotta do that.
That's really impressive. And you sound like a kid that fell down the well when you're doing that.
I don't know if you could just not do that, or if you've always been able to do that, and then just Ronan's your eventual payment of the contract. Enjoying the details of it as you pass by the field mice that occasionally scurry across the road and get snatched up by a hawk, and you're like, yep, that's how it happens.
Fair play.
I lived it, so I remember, but for Caduceus, can you remind me why Gustav was locked up again?
Well, you see Caduceus.
Circus and the fucking... I know, but what did he do wrong? Devil Toes.
This is the town that we all...
He was responsible for the circus. That's all. He just took responsibility.
But that wasn't... How did he know? This is an innocent man. He
Exactly.
didn't do anything bad, right?
I would love to have just an inside check from Caduceus.
Maybe make an inside check.
Yeah. I want to know what's going on in there. That's 27.
27.
I rolled real well today. Rolling high.
What would I say what?
Werewolves. Next week, Travis Willingham living his best life.
Here wolves?
They're wolves.
Werewolves.
Everywhere.
Why wolves?
Yep.
Too many. Too
gonna
many.
be great.
Sorry.
We're all gonna grow facial hair for next week, right? Too.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear a mustache.
Cool.
Reminiscent of Bert.
But sincerely, I'm very appreciative, each and every one of you.
It's maybe a little bit for you, but also for a friend. I'm not good at this. Does someone want to?
I can do this if you like.
You don't.
I don't have to know.
No.
Your friend and ours, Molly Mock, is no longer of this world, and this would be a way of us saying, putting his legacy at peace.
Well,
If we can afford it, well, no
It
promises.
depends on
no
how much is left, because we don't have like a ton of money.
I'm just musing on how we found them and how we left them.
Which was
A brief star burning very bright, but twice as short. But no, when we found him outside of the forests up north, he had no memory, no voice, no words. He was basically a vegetable. But over time, he came back to his senses, and yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah,
He was a good one.
We were fond of him, and he was fond of you, so...
Well, that's the dangers of the world we live in, I suppose.
I know you've taken this burden on yourselves, but I think we would all feel a bit better if you would just accept this as a small thank you for then and now as well.
Well, it's more than a thank you. I feel that you have to be free. so that you can finally pay your debt.
This is me paying my debt.
No, this is you hiding from your debt. You're a man who is afraid of what you owe. I understand. That's okay. It'll feel so much better when you're finally
Don't know
freed
who
from this
you are,
weight.
friend, but
I know.
you've stepped into a space where you have no knowledge, and trust me, this is my debt to pay. This is my responsibility.
This is not your debt. Your debt lies elsewhere. I know these things.
Caduceus.
Yeah.
What
maybe
the hell?
Make some tea and shut the fuck up for a second.
Anyway, I should finish my meal.
It'll be your last one in here.
And he goes over and grabs the bowl and kind of quietly, while looking at Caduceus, begins to eat his gray mush.
Can you tell the future?
No,
Can you tell the past?
I just know a guilty man when I see one.
Is he a guilty man?
Guilty of. Are we out of earshot?
Is he a bad guy?
You can move out of your shot.
All group shuffle out of earshot.
You, like bump into the Crown's Guard behind you. Oh, excuse me.
What was that? Where did that come from?
He doesn't want to leave.
He looks
Why?
really happy in here, right?
It's not even happy. He's hiding in here.
Well, then maybe we should leave him in here if he feels unsafe on the outside.
It's not that he feels unsafe. You can just, it's all over his face.
I can't. It just looks like a dude.
You could tell that just from looking at him?
You could tell a lot from people just by looking at them.
What do you think when you look at me?
That's an entire conversation for later.
Okay.
Caduceus, how and when will Ford die?
In a terrible crash.
Make one last persuasion check. This will be a higher DC.
Is this to buy this charismatic fucking half-orc?
What do you say to his sister?
Oh, what I just said.
Yeah.
Listen to Bo. She knows the skull.
Interpretive dance.
Jazz hands.
You watch. You watch it as the law master's eyebrow raises to the.
And I wink.
Oh my god.
For
oh
the
my
first
god.
time since you've seen Norda, you see a smile curl across her face. Goes, that's not the weirdest thing I've seen in some time. Make your check with advantage.
Hey. Natural 20! Yeah, jazz hands work every fucking time.
What was the other number?
17.
Pretty great.
Okay, still good.
I think he's planning on ambushing us. I'm gonna cast
Just one?
just one I can see, although he's talking to someone. I'm gonna cast Calm Emotions over there just to see what that does.
Okay.
Just a little chamomile. Just calming. A little lavender.
It's a 20-foot bomb just in all that section I can't see.
Yep. It's a charisma saving throw.
Against 16.
It's a natural 5 with a -1. That's going to be a no.
Nice.
Attaboy.
Nice, Tal.
All right.
That's how you speak up.
So, you can, the tension, and you guys can, as Caduceus has pointed out, this figure, you can see it kind of tense against the stone, and you see it was like reaching down, and it had just at a site there was some large rocky formation that it had kind of had its arms on, and it kind of leans back a bit and shakes its head, and as it pulls just beyond the outline of the rock, you can see a second head right next to the first. 2 heads on one set of shoulders, and they both kind of shake away from each other, then together in a way, and one kind of looks to the other and just kind of waves in your direction.
What are they wearing?
Mostly no clothing other than a bit of tattered leather and hide and furs that are kind of matted around the midsection and then dangling almost past the knees.
I'm just gonna calmly keep moving the cart by them, and I'm just gonna wave back and say, "That's some great leather you're wearing there. Look great."
Are you fucking kidding me?
Holy
As the cart moves past, another voice, also in giant, comes across the way. You guys hear, "Nerd, You look over to the other side, and from around another rock, you see another one of them, who's like looking livid at the other one, which you're concentrating on. The other one is yelling at it, pointing at you, and the other guy's like,
I can understand this too, and I'm going to chime in a bit. I think it's really unfair that you're just putting this all on him. I think you really, you got to chill out a bit. You seem like a nice guy. You're really like listening to this? God, I'm also still very gently still moving forward.
Okay,
you guys got issues, man.
Pushing slowly forward. They go, pick up one weapon, pick up the other. And just bolt away. Just book it out of here. Self-preservation has kicked in.
If no one does anything else, I will send another fireball 150 feet.
It just starts running away. That is an 11 minus 1, does not make its next dexterity save. It's running up the mountains and like looking over its shoulder like How do you want to do this?
What kind of animals do you have? I want one.
And giving a display, the two other helpers begin opening one cage in the far back, and you can see the two creatures that pull on the side as they walk over with two very young tiger cubs. Orange and white with black stripes across their back. These are twin cubs. The last of their litter were given birth to, but about 6 weeks before.
No. Twin cubs.
No. If you would like to make a home for either of these, they are 70 gold apiece, or if you want to buy them as a pair, merely 120 gold.
One girl, two cubs.
Sweet tiger cubs into that.
Sam, would you like an animal companion?
Anything you can't sell.
Well, I should probably hold them to see if they will like me or not.
But of course, here. Takes one cub and hands it to you. And they look like they'd woken up not long before, and they're kind of like big paws that are kind of oversized for their physicality. Kind of hands the other one over to you, and as it hands the other one over, this one is like climbing up your shoulder, gets a little rambunctious, and it's kind of across the back and shoulder area. And you're kind of holding
I
this.
mean, should we have some tigers?
Should we have some?
They look very happy with you.
I'm really happy with them.
Perhaps there is something else.
Caleb is very judgmentally petting his pet.
What else do you have, though?
We have Jamila, who is in need of a home and some care, and points over to another cage, and you can see an older baboon. You can see kind of like the orangish red fur fading to gray. It looks older. You can see kind of the drooping skin. It has one arm up, holding onto a branch in the cage, and looks over and it's like.
Is he nice?
Well, she is unique. Maybe a bit of a big personality, but overall very useful and.
She sucks.
How much is she, though?
45 gold for her.
Well, I could probably get all 3. What else do you have?
We have, and turns
Sleep spell.
and you can see one of the helpers is, 2 of the helpers have gone into the one of the larger cages and pulled out on these like leather cords that they keep kind of wrapped around a finger with these little loops that are affixed to the legs of these 3 smaller kind of parrot-like birds. This is a blue dollop, and kind of sets it over onto the edge there.
On my horn.
On the horn.
Okay.
This is a purple feathered joppy, and hands it over to you. This is a yellow-white korat, and the 3rd bird is placed over onto your other hand. These run about 20. No, these are 15 gold pieces apiece for these birds.
That's like nothing, really.
Bow's hard shell drops.
I mean, they're basically free.
I mean, yeah.
Takes the cubs from you,
Aww.
puts them back in the cage. we also have, and points over to an owl. You see an owl, a large owl in one of the far back cages that is kind of just like curled up. You can see in the daylight, it's kind of like it's now hitting the end of its conscious cycle, and the head kind of. It just stays in the cage. The owl is 20 gold pieces, and you hear this like. From the back cage, and you can see this like vibrant green peacock that is in one of their back parts. Thank you.
That's a nice one. Taliesin, this one's for you.
And you see it kind of like sitting in the cage.
Bastards, those.
Yeah, they're dicks.
Yeah, they are.
But it's kind of sitting there in the cage, kind of. Yeah, let's go. The peacock will run you 40 gold pieces to purchase. We have in that cage over there, and you see this like long branch that's kind of twisted up in the side, and you. He's not the one. Come on, show yourself. And he takes a little stick out the side and kind of pokes the log, and you see up on the log this tiny kind of crimson-colored weasel. This long weasel creature. This is a crimson weasel.
You can make him a little mask,
this
and
is
then he'd be the crimson.
The crimson weasel. Is it 20 gold pieces for the crimson weasel?
Wait, I need to hold the weasel. I'm thinking about buying the weasel.
You go ahead and take the bird off of your horn. You can retrieve the other birds off of Bo and take them back in the cage.
These two birds for that owl. Can I hold the owl?
He goes over and opens the owl cage, gets a heavy leather glove on.
Yeah, I feel like I'm really holding these animals. I know.
Gets a heavy leather glove on, and then reaches into to get the owl, and it kind of takes about 3 or 4 minutes to eventually nudge it to get onto the arm, and the owl's just like fucking not having any of it, and it's like, no.
Wait, if you buy the owl and I buy a weasel, is your owl going to eat my weasel?
Would the owl eat the weasels?
There is a reason we keep them in separate cages, yes.
Well, could we teach them to be friends?
That is up to you. I cannot guarantee success in this endeavor, but you are welcome to try. Being a natural predator of the crimson weasel, I would not recommend it, but it is your purchase.
I kind of like a challenge.
That's gonna be a dead pet.
I don't want him to eat my weasel, though. Can I hold it?
How many times
Brings the weasel over. There is another leather leash on the weasel. Hands it over to him. The weasel kind of climbs up your arm. Immediately hits you. The smell is not pleasant, but not terrible either. It's just definitely a smell of creature. That's the best way I can describe it.
Kind of like a mix between Nut and Caleb.
Yeah, it's almost citrusy, but like fermented citrus. Similar to like a ferret smell, kind of, but it makes its way up the arm and kind of like curls up and nestles into you. It's pretty soft. We have one more. This is a trained creature because we have to train them initially, or we cannot keep it with us. Turns around and pulls out the side a tiny little puppy. It's like a soft kind of brown puppy with a bit of fold.
What are you doing?
And pulls it up. What? This one is 100 gold pieces.
What can it do? What does it try to do?
Yeah, well, it is trained to stay within its cage, because when it gets excited and it pulls it over towards you and the tail kind of wags, and then it vanishes from his hand, and then appears on the ground next to you.
Motherfucking blink dog. I mean, I'm not there.
Appears on the ground next to you and is like, and kind of curls up and starts like nibbling on your boot.
How much is this
This is
one?
100 gold.
100 gold? For a cute blinky dog?
Is the owl the natural predator of blink dogs?
No,
Or would the owl-
the dog is too large. The dog will get larger, I will warn you. It
Will the
gets
dog
too...
eat the owl?
Probably not
How
unless
much
it...
for the dog and the owl?
I want the dog for sure. Yes.
Yeah, it's a bird of prey that you have to wear a glove to handle. How awesome is that?
What do you do with tigers?
How much is the weasel again? How much is the weasel?
The crimson weasel is 20 gold pieces. The blink
okay,
puppy
Bo.
is 100 gold pieces.
Taliesin and Caduceus have very conflicting feelings right now.
Ever eaten tiger before?
We should split the dog and we can have a pet together and you can room with us whenever we go anywhere.
Okay, yeah.
And then you can
I've
get
never been so
your owl
disappointed to have
and
a
make sure he
vegetarian
doesn't take my
character in my
weasel because
entire
I'm
life.
definitely getting the weasel.
too. Okay. Here's my question. What do we do with all these animals?
That's a very good question.
We're gonna get them, but what do we
But
do?
they don't want to.
Why did you put this in front of us, Matt?
I know.
Why?
You know exactly why. Because it's funny.
I don't know.
I don't either. But we could get them and just figure it out as
We
we
can
go.
figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll have pets.
Okay.
You're gonna lose that puppy. It's gonna blink itself off a cliff, and you're never gonna be the same.
Hey,
You're gonna be devastated.
No, that blink dog is cool.
Just watch
you guys all right?
The
This
first
all
enemy that
on the
comes up
level.
is
I'm just
freak out
gonna
and be like,
check with the animals that everything's copacetic.
Yeah, make
Be like cool.
Now, Bo, you know a pet is a lot of responsibility.
I'm so glad that this is happening.
I just want you to understand, you're gonna have to feed it, take care of it,
Okay.
clean up after it.
I know, Ford.
And I take out a little metal wire and I add this conversation and say, you are responsible for this animal's stealth checks.
Get out of my head.
Can we start a pool about which animal dies first?
Weasel.
Or lost? Just lost.
Weasel.
Weasel.
So
This is in my daughter's campaign of 8-year-olds. All the girls are like, "Can I have a pet?" It's just like that.
yeah,
These two.
yeah,
You
Yeah.
did this.
Yeah.
You did this.
yeah, I did. All right, so Jester has a crimson weasel.
I have a weasel.
The name of my dope owl. What's he called?
That's whatever you want to call him.
But what's his breed? What's his
A white owl is a barn owl.
No. He'd be more akin. It'd be more akin to visually to a great horned owl, except for because it comes from a more temperate region here on the Menagerie Coast. The feathers are more light. The body is less large, and it's more elongated and thin. The tail feathers are a little longer, and the beak itself has a very, very sharp, like more than usual sharpened.
Got a tattoo on his left wing.
He watches like pulls him. It's like
It's just Icarus tattooed on his wing.
Spider web.
all right, so that's 140 gold away, and this I'm going to warn you. This puppy is rambunctious and. Well, as he's making the transaction, he's not going to tell you after the fact like a tool. He's like, you must be diligent and begin to train it to know who is home. Or else you lose it. So begin training it now.
What should we name him?
Oh no.
I don't know.
What do we name him?
Too much.
Nugget.
I'm not against it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nugget.
Nugget the Blink Dog.
Yeah.
All right, so mark that somewhere. You have your Crimson Weasel, you have your owl.
What about the owl and the weasel?
I'll kind of think about it.
Nothing is more important than this.
There's no rush. Thank you very much for your commerce. If there is no other purchases, we will continue our journey northward.
Nugget.
Good luck to you.
We are
You as well,
home.
old friend.
Nugget.
All right, up top. Everyone gets back into the carts, puts the rest of the creatures away, and
We feed them.
Yeah, where do I feed it? Can we get a carrying crate?
the carts kind of roll to a stop, and one of the hands comes over, and it's kind of like a younger woman, the one who's been kind of helping with the birds, comes over with two small satchels. One hands it to you, and it is filled with about 10 dried out rat corpses.
Yeah, cool.
Don't let not find that.
The other one is filled with what looks to be like bits bits of dried jerky and dried fruit.
Is that for the dog or
For the dog
weasel?
and or the weasel, based on the one.
And then I'll pull up my cloak of elven kind and put out a couple of pieces of meat because Ford told me that seagulls come for food, and I'll hide and have my crossbow just ready to go.
Okay.
I'm not stopping.
As you crouch down, you notice the clothing you place is Caleb begins to shift, moving slowly to one side.
Are you trying to prank Caleb? I will not stand for that. I'll go fetch it. Pick
You
it
pull
up.
it up, and you can see beneath it a large sand crab that kind of like emerge from underneath it, kind of looks up at you with those two small black beady fur-like eyes and claws.
I gotta try to grab it.
Make a dexterity check.
Oh God.
Yes.
Oh, not good.
Those things
Dexterity
will get you.
check, 11.
11. It rolled exactly an 11 on its dexterity, so you managed to just capture it, and it's now. It's going to attempt to snipe it. That's a 17 to hit with your class. Your thumb clamps down, and there's an immediate flash of pain through your body.
So much blood.
As you're like trying to shake it off, it's still just ripping back and forth, holding on tightly.
I will. I'll try. I'm gonna go down on it with my knee, like jump up and knee down on it.
Okay, go ahead. Make an acrobatics check.
Okay. Oh, not good. 10.
Getting your ass.
10. Thankfully, it rolled lower than you, because I wouldn't. It takes you a little bit of effort. It takes you 2 or 3 leaps because it keeps like skittering out of the way, and you're not about to be bested by a small crustacean. For the third try, you manage to get just enough leverage as you push into the air, and with one resounding crack down through its external shell, it releases its grip somewhat on your thumb. You have to actually pry it off. It seems to be locked into its death grip. Did you name your owl?
I did.
What did you name your owl?
This is Professor Thaddeus.
Well, yeah, sure.
He looks like a professor.
Exactly.
Looks like a Thaddeus.
I couldn't decide if he looked more like a professor or more like a Thaddeus, and then I realized.
Why not at both?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you meditate for the full 2 hours that she's training the blink dog, or do you return to Professor Thaddeus?
Bo could not meditate for 2 hours. No.
Fair enough.
I meditate for like
60 seconds.
10 minutes. Yeah, tops.
And then go back and I just wanna train Professor Thaddeus to like come when I look regal and hold out my arm.
Okay, so you stand about 50 yards from the cart and hold aloft your forearm and attempt to find a way to coax Professor Thaddeus.
Professor?
Go ahead and roll an animal handling check.
Professor, come.
Offer it tenure.
That's pretty good.
Trying to leave it alone.
21.
I know it's been.
I rolled a natural 18, 21.
Okay, 21.
I see. How far out is Caleb in the water?
I'd say it's about 15 feet out, not too far.
Can I use Misty Step to appear right next to him in the water and scare the shit out of him?
Yes, you may. Caleb, as you've been kind of lying there looking up into the beautiful blue sky with just faint tufts of white just drifting by, but mostly just this unending sphere of blue color before you. Thor just appears, a shadow above you looming in the water.
Whoa, hey, all right there, Chief. Okay, all right. You're good. Sorry.
You can't just sneak up on a person.
Sorry, I just figured you want some company. It's really tranquil, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very quite nice.
Yeah. You seem very at home in the water. I'm surprised.
I ducked down 4 feet.
This is Caleb? Hello?
Well, no, I'm just, submerging my bits.
Scuba diving.
I take a moment and scan the beach and call out, not the brave! Live up to your name and jump in the ocean!
Yeah.
There's no comma. There is no comma.
That it. Yeah.
It's so big.
There is a comma. There is a comma. I know what I'm talking about. Get in there.
Who cares? Go swimming!
Give me a minute. I just ate some seagull. I need to wait a half hour.
That's a wives' tale. It's not true.
I think it's true. I'm cramping already.
I knock on the door and say, good evening, Marianne Lavour. The little Sapphire has come to see you.
There's a pause, and then there's a step at the door, and the door creeps open, and you can see one of the servants who works within the chateau, an older woman in her 40s or so, human with like very short, kind of crimped, dark hair, who generally helps prep your mother, helps her get dressed, and helps get her prepared for the performance. Glances past. Her name is actually Nadine, and she peeks through, looking
sort of
Tell her, the
customer
little Sapphire's here to see you, Ruby!
You hear a voice from behind her go, I'm sorry, what? And from peeking over the shoulder, as your vision focuses into the chamber beyond, low lit beyond just the series of candles that are set around the single mirror, you see the beautiful red skin of your mother and the dark hair tumbled past the shoulder as she's been wearing a mostly laced up bodice. As the other servant is in the process of lacing and tying it, glances over her shoulder, kind of pushes past the edge of the chair and goes,
It's me!
You see her smile brightly, her kind of faintly white, glowing with a hint of yellowish gold tint to her eyes, brighten immediately. And goes, well, come in. Please, close the door for me. And he closes the door and goes, I very confused by this mysteries, but whatever you require. At which point the other one who's lacing is still like pulling on the back of the bodice, and without even looking at her, Marianne just kind of pushes her aside and goes, shh.
I ran forward and gave her a big hug.
Okay, as you kind of give her a hug, she kind of holds you there and goes, you look different.
It's a spell. I'm actually still me, don't worry.
There's a nod, and their kind of tension in her body melts as her arms kind of enclose on your shoulders and back and pulls you in close in this moment of warmth and relief that washes over both of you at being reunited here in this chamber. The two servants kind of sit in the back awkwardly, not quite understanding entirely either, and kind of whispering to each other, while Marianne just continues to hold you and rock you back and forth and just goes, my beautiful Chester, I've missed you so much.
I missed you so much. I wanted to come home sooner, but we got distracted because we went to the Empire.
Right, I remember you telling me you were going to go there.
Oh, that's right, I sent you messages.
Yes.
Yeah.
How was it? I have not traveled beyond the boundaries.
It's really kind of cold, and the people are pretty strict, but there are some really, really nice people that you can meet. I met a lot of friends. You should meet them.
I'd be happy to. And
They're downstairs.
She kind of traces her fingers along her face, goes like,
Here. I put her hand on my horn so she can tell
she
it's
feels
still
it,
there.
and she's like, can I see my little girl?
Is it okay with
They're fine. He dropped the illusion, and even though she knew, it wasn't until actually she gets an opportunity to look upon your face and your hair and your eyes and your smile that you watch just life breathe in like a renewed fire into the chest of your mother. Immediately she grabs the sides of your cheeks and pulls you in and goes, I've missed you so much, and just brings you in and kisses you on the forehead and starts running her fingers through your hair, and there's
careful of the weasel. His name is Sprinkle, Mama.
He's very adorable.
I'm going.
Down the stairs, curving down from the right-hand side to the central staircase, the beautiful visage of the Ruby of the Sea. In her dark dress, the train dangling up about 6 or 7 steps behind her as her fingers trace the sides of the railing. She comes down, takes a breath, and begins to gently sing to the audience around you. And you watch as everyone in the room begins to lean forward in trance, the beautiful voice filling the interior of this inn. The lights seem to almost flicker and shift with her emotional intent of the song. As her voice fills the space with warmth, the light seems to brighten ever so gently with each crescendo. Even the bartenders themselves have stopped. They've seen performances like this hundreds of times. It's still a performance that draws attention from all across the coast and beyond. Jester, you've seen this many times as well, but it doesn't ever lose its luster. You see as all the tables themselves are just quiet as she steps into the center of the room, kind of walking from table to table, tracing the edges with her fingers, making eye contact with each of the patrons. You see as that older man and the younger woman sitting at the table both kind of sit comfortably watching, but can't help but smile in the presence of this fantastic vocalist. You see at another table, there is a
rather burly-looking man who is well-dressed, though a bit rugged for what he's wearing, who is flanked by two dwarven bodyguards, it looks like, and he's leaning in real intent on the table towards her, and as she steps by, he kind of touches her hand, and she kind of touches it and pulls away a bit and gives him a wink and continues singing, and he pulls back into his chair, resting. You watch as one of the other tables has these three merchants that have been there since the moment you arrived, who seem to be eagerly counting out coins and like pushing them to the edge of the table to tip her, and as she passes by, she kind of glances off to one of the assistants who rushes over and scoops him off the table. She does not accept the tips herself. You are welcome to stay for a while under my name. Please, I would like to know the names if you would like to introduce.
This is Ford. I met him earliest. He's a half-orc and he's growing his teeth back and he's very, very handsome.
I can see that.
It's a pleasure. I can see where Jester gets her good looks from.
Well, I can see where she speaks honestly in front of her mother as well. And she puts her hand out.
I'll give it a kiss.
She kind of pulls away, but like rests just a moment on your fingertips before pulling away and kind of smiles. I can see you are a very strong-willed and protective man. Do you watch over Jester in my stead?
I do. I try to.
Good. I feel better knowing that she's safe in your care. Anyway.
This is Bo. She's really strong. She's the one I was telling you about that can fight things with a stick.
Right, you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah.
Bo, it is a pleasure.
So,
She kind of reaches and shakes your
I
hand.
also forward.
Yank.
Do the fingertip thing back.
The pleasure is mine as well.
Caleb.
This is Caleb. He's a wizard. He has a lot of fire and stuff. He likes his books, and he used to smell bad, but he doesn't anymore. He likes water now.
You have a beautiful singing voice. Thank you very much for the performance. You have a very charming daughter.
Thank you, and thank you. You, I can sense a bit rough in the social graces, so I am very honored that you would come to see my performance. Is that a Zemnian accent?
I am afraid so, yeah.
It is. It shows that you've traveled some distance to be here.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Fish out of water, yeah.
Well, you found plenty of it here, so perhaps the fish has found a home.
This is not. She's very, very, very brave, even though she's very small. Be careful of your rings.
I wouldn't steal from your mother, and if I did, we would solve the crime.
That's right, because we're detectives and we're really good at solving cases. She's kind of my partner in crime.
Well, I was not aware this was the dress of a detective.
Oh, am I still in my...
Yes, you are.
I will drop my form.
This is what you really...
Takes a step back. Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh, don't apologize.
Always with the teeth.
This is not... This is seagull blood. This is not human blood.
The world is made of all kinds.
If you need an extra seagull or two, I have 7 to spare, and I would happily leave you 1 or 2 of those.
They are the rats of the city. I have had plenty, but I thank you. Well, I think you are very adorable. It is a pleasure to meet you, Not.
You are adorable.
Well, she's very nice. It's lovely to meet you. I'll curtsy.
She grabs the edges of her robe and kind of counter curtsies halfway, and while she's sitting in her chair. And this one is...
This is...
Yeah, I'll pop back up.
He's got pink hair. He used to live in a cemetery. He doesn't know a lot of things. He doesn't know anything about sex, and he drinks dead people.
So,
Interesting.
Oh, no.
less of a cemetery, more of a graveyard. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
The pleasure is mine. Well, you've not been outside of this graveyard that my daughter speaks of?
Only recently, yeah.
A man fresh to the world of vice? I presume?
Aware of it, but just trying to only dip a couple toes in.
Oh, my daughter will break you of any habits of ignorance very quickly.
I don't know what that means.
Good.
I would like to know what that means.
You carry very interesting companions.
I know. They've saved my life, you know, and I've saved theirs. Because I'm a really good cleric. Did you know that I do that now?
I did not.
I can heal people, Mom.
That is incredible.
She can heal people.
She's
She
been,
is able to.
she's been very helpful in a few frays. We owe her quite a bit.
Well, I am grateful that you all have kept her safe. And I am excited to hear that you've been able to do such incredible things. But why, is this your friend, the one you mentioned before? The traveler?
Oh, no, he's not. He's not here.
No, but the healing.
The healing? Yeah.
Wow. Oh, very well.
I
Well, that is
know.
incredible.
Yeah.
Well, Here, let's have some drinks. He's told me twice he wishes to one day show me his secret, his great servant beneath the city, but...
What?
He's a great servant beneath the city.
Understood. Mister looks extremely motivated. Perhaps we taking care of this simple errand for you might help compensate for a few nights' stay?
I do not require compensation, but if it makes you feel better about it, certainly.
Thank you.
You're quite the gentleman.
He's actually not the gentleman. We met a guy who goes by the name Gentleman.
Have you ever heard of him?
Oh, she's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, got ya. I don't know who knows who.
He's blue as well, and he's always sweaty.
Yeah.
Dark hair.
He's wet.
Yeah.
He's a wet
He's always
walker.
really wet.
a wet walker.
Yes, I know of him.
Oh,
You know of the gentleman? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because we're not cool with him so much.
Well, I know of a man of you describe, of bluish skin and quite sweaty. Yes, he has come through before.
Was he nice or was he not nice?
He was very nice. He was very dashing.
Yeah.
I've told you about him before.
What? Wait a minute. But not the gentleman, though.
I don't know the name, the gentleman, but
He has dark hair. He has got like black hair that's really long.
And blue skin.
Oh my God, your mother knows the gentleman. That's so cool.
It goes a little deeper than that, Lucy. Is that? What's happening? That's why you always have a little sweat right there.
No.
But this is why you can do like, kind of like watery stuff, right? Like cold stuff, right? Can you do that?
tell me more of this gentleman, please.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, he lives in Zadash, and he lives in a bar, and he's got long black hair, and he's really like, kind of charming, sort of, but kind of snarky at the same time.
Well dressed, smooth voice, little patch of dark hair on the chest right there.
The temple nip.
Wait, yeah.
Licky tap.
Leaky tap.
Leaky tap.
Not the leaky nip.
That's a very, very
Wait,
different
what's
item.
the name of it?
I'll look it up.
In the other book.
Name of the nurse.
Dash evening nip.
No.
That's the gentleman. The evening nip. Yes.
Yes, the evening nip is
Okay, we're
the
combining
name.
all of our taverns.
oh my God, we're freaking out. We're freaking out.
This is huge.
We had a gift for him or something. We have many gifts or something.
Yeah. We may provide. We have nothing to offer, but we can
don't-
provide many gifts.
I know.
He has a barkeep man named Clive
I'd like a
Vince.
drink. I
He
have no
knows a guy around here too named Father Pierce.
I don't know about anything in that regard, but he wasn't named the gentleman when I met him.
What was he named?
I never asked.
I have a vial of his spit. Can you analyze it? I don't know.
She kind of smirks a bit and says, "Oh, honey." No,
He did wear lots of rings on his fingers.
we had a bit of a romance years ago.
How many years ago, by the way?
I told you about Babanan.
Babanan.
Babanan Dosal.
I didn't ask if that was his name, though.
Babanan.
Your dad's name is Bob?
B-A-B.
Wait, Bobanon?
B-A-B-E-N-O-N.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
I have no idea what his name is now.
Babanon. Babanon Dosal.
Barbasol.
Wait, Bobanon what?
Babylon?
Labrador.
Babylon? Here we go.
You say he's in Zadash now.
But yeah, you said he lived in the ocean.
Got it.
That's what he told me.
What? Bazaar?
The song.
Oh my god. What if the gentleman is my dad?
Wait, what?
Are we saying if or are we saying is?
Well, we don't know for sure. I mean,
Your mother might know
do you
for
have
sure.
a picture of him?
No,
Do you have
no.
a drawing of him?
Why don't you draw the gentleman?
draw a picture.
You probably got drawings of him. Made a book.
This is the perfect time for a game of Pictionary. I'm so excited.
I will not.
Both of you, don't look.
Yeah, you draw one and she draws one.
Oh,
It's fair.
Yeah.
Oh, draw.
Policeman style.
I'd like to think the party is legitimately this excited.
Oh, yeah. Oh, very much so. Well, and you...
I don't understand what's happening.
This is the best episode of Maury ever.
You can see Marion seems both present and not. Like she's trying to kind of process all of this.
What is this?
She reaches over and goes to her counter and begins drawing, and she's not anywhere near as good an artist as her daughter.
This is pure gold. What's happening here?
It is amazing what's happening over here. This is
You're physically. Oh.
oh yeah.
I'm glad that an offhanded joke about the gentleman led to this.
Cartoon character Daria.
Those are weird sweat drops.
Wait, let me see.
It looks like Daria.
Daria with a beard.
Jester's a really good drawer, even though I'm not.
I keep hoping.
No.
Yep. There's no getting around it.
Imagine this is like Da Vinci.
It's very Scott Pilgrim. Have you seen this one?
Oh my god, yes.
Are you drawing that right now?
Well, yeah, if you're gonna draw a picture, I'm gonna draw one real fast too.
Oh, we're taking more time, Matthew. Matt's a really good drawer.
No, not at this speed. I'm not. No, I'm not.
Have you seen
Bullshit. And she's not a good artist either. She's like,
Oh, that's so much better. It's the same.
That is him.
Let me see. Let's see.
Oh,
Does it look like the same person when we look at the two drawings?
you can make a connection.
Okay.
So is it the same person? We need to know that.
Jester, that is quite the revelation.
Wow.
Your dad, I mean, Baba Don, is tracking us.
Very attractive man.
He has our blood.
I am so confused by this, but you've talked to him, you've seen him, you know where he is?
Yeah, he's in Zadash. Do you want to go see him?
I can't.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to send him a message, okay? And then we can see if it's him. If it's him. I send a message to the gentleman.
Wait, what do you say?
Oh God.
Oh no. Oh fuck.
Oh my god. Is your name Babinando Sol? Have you ever been to the Menagerie Coast? Oh my god. Do you know the Ruby of the Sea? Oh my god.
He's gonna think he's being wiretapped.
Okay. So the spell sends. No response.
Maybe you should say, "This is Jester."
No, he's gotten my messages before. He knows it's me.
That message probably interrupted a threesome.
Yeah.
He does have, like, I've seen, like, him having sex and stuff. We haven't seen it, but we know.
Probably doesn't bother your mom.
But I wanted him to be true to her forever. I'm going to try one more time.
Oh gosh. Okay.
What do I have? Is it nighttime already?
It's getting late.
I mean, it's late evening. It's probably close to midnight by now.
Okay, this is. I'm going to think about what I'm going to say on this one.
No chance.
I'm using my Pearl of Power. It's my last 3rd level spell. Okay. Hello, gentlemen. This is Jester. Please respond. Just yes if you've seen the ruby. Please. Was that 20?
Oh.
Oh! Oh, shit!
Oh my god.
Please tell me it plays at those exact pauses.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
I want to hear some like 1988 phone voicemail message
Oh yeah.
thrown on top of that.
Gentlemen, you're on the phone right now.
There is a palpable pause of nothing. And then he responds. No, that's preposterous.
That's preposterous, he says.
Maybe it is.
Did the guy that you know use words like preposterous?
I know, but though he may be gone, he left me with the greatest gift I've ever had, so. And she kind of runs her hands through your hair once more. For that, I'm thankful.
Do you still love him?
Love is a funny thing. There's still a part of my heart that will always be his. But it's been decades. You move on.
Decades!
Holy shit!
That could mean literally 2 decades.
You're
That's
60.
okay.
Or 3.
I know, like.
Possible to learn more about this place. Possibly.
I can tell you of its history. Come in.
Thank you.
All of us? Noisy out here.
That's behavior.
So many horses on this lighthouse.
You know, kept trying to find the right audio file, and they all just kept coming up real busy.
We've been shooting horses outside. just on Tuesdays.
It's a really busy wharf, guys. A lot of, well, anyway. Fuck me for trying to add atmosphere, right?
He's juggling a lot of plates.
I know.
Please, last week I was like, how does this shit work? What do I do here?
Oh man. Oh god, I love it.
As we walk, I mean, I know that this was our way in or whatever, but we're gonna cut to the chase at some point, right? I mean,
What chase?
there's been a lot of, full pony, but we need to get to the actual.
Oh fucking all that. Amazing.
What are we supposed to ask about?
Ponies are still outside.
about the guy, about Al Gore Diamond.
We'll get there.
Why did you call him Al Gore?
Al Gore. He invented the internet.
Think you're having a moment right now.
That's fucking character names.
Every time you do it, just adds more hit points.
Oh man.
Having a moment.
Are you a goblin?
Do I look like a goblin?
Yes.
Shit. People have told me that I do look like a goblin. I'm a goblin.
And you're working with these people.
They've looked past my hideous features to...
You're not hideous.
She is
She's
invaluable.
pretty hideous.
She is invaluable to us.
Can I help you?
Yes, we're new in town. I couldn't help but notice that structure there. Very unique. What is it?
That's Tide Peak. It's the tower of Usarenis, the mage who owns this district.
There's a mage that owns this district.
Yes. To the chagrin of the Clovis Concord, yes.
The chagrin.
They don't get on, do they?
You could say that. I need to get to work.
Usarenis?
Usa.
Usa.
Y-U-S-S-A. The right-hand side, you see, for some of you, the first time, looks to be like a very, very large humanoid turtle. You see them sitting on a bench. You've seen a few turtles in your travels, but they don't normally travel northward into the Empire. This one is sitting there hunched over a table by themselves with what looks to be a heavy tankard that they're clutching with both of their hands.
Should we talk to him first?
Yeah. Who wants to talk to? No, not.
No.
What are those?
Looks crazy.
What are those things coming out of the show?
I don't know.
Tubes?
Are you a turtle?
And do you walk up and approach him?
Yeah, I'm a shithead.
All right.
We're all gonna fight.
Sitting there on the table, kind of both these large, scaled, coming to the point of these kind of hooked claws. These hands are wrapped around this heavy tankard. The head kind of shifts over your direction, where the eye patch kind of meets your gaze first. For the other eye creeps past the extending, hard brow.
I'm sorry, what you asking, huh?
I was asking how you got your eye patch. Did somebody shoot it out of your eye?
Well, that's certainly a possibility, Cher.
You don't remember?
You don't think that perhaps someone's gonna tell you their life story just without even knowing you, huh? You gonna buy me a drink first, huh?
Oh yeah, I will buy you a drink if you tell me how your eyeball went missing.
Very well.
I go,
Preparing what looks to be another drink. Lowers his hand and claw, which kind of scrapes across the wood and leaves this little kind of curl of a little shaving that is put to the side as his hand comes to rest, looking back at you with his one eye.
How about this then? Let's trade a story, huh?
okay.
You tell me where you're from and why I brought you into my table. Then maybe I'll tell you how I lost this, huh?
Okay. Well, I'm from up the street, kind of. I'm the daughter of the Ruby of the Sea. Do you work for any government officials?
No.
I'm the daughter of the Ruby of the Sea. And these are my friends, and we've gotten into a lot of hijinks. And what else did you want to know?
Drink gets right under the table.
Don't worry, she's gonna take care of it.
Yes. Do you have money to take care of?
Sure. You guys, because I was gonna go get some milk too. Because you need 2 milks also. So 1 hot, please. 2 milks, 1 hot.
It's a silver for that, so
Yeah.
it's an easy trade-off.
We order anything other than milk, please.
Okay, well, for a round of drinks and the milks involved as well, that'll put you, we'll say, at about 2 silver.
I got
Sure.
It's also possible that we met my dad earlier and we didn't know it.
I'm going to be perfectly honest. That was a lot more than I was asking. But I appreciate it.
Okay. I appreciate you too. How did you get those pipes on your back?
Turns and you hear like the creaking of leather as the long extended neck kind of turns, the folds of skin kind of pushing against themselves.
Well, got this here on sea maybe about 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh boy.
What do they do?
And he reaches back, and you can see it's interesting because, like on the right side of the shell, it looks like elements have been carved through where these pipes have been put in on the back. On the front, there's a small kind of deflated pouch of leather, and what looks to be a small extended tube of metal. He kind of lifts it with one hand and
Oh my god.
breathes into it, and it kind of inflates a bit and inflates a bit. And you see his one eye kind of look around mischievously to everyone else at the bar and goes,
I mean, you asked.
and you get just this like trio of bagpipes begin blasting out of these large, almost shell sculpted pipes that curve out of his shell, and everyone in the room just immediately starts grabbing their ears, going, "Ah, what's this?" And they start throwing things over, clanking off of his shell, and
Oh my God, fake bagpipe sound is best bagpipe
Happening, I don't know.
he goes,
That there is how I keep the other shipmates entertained.
Entertained.
It's
Yeah,
a very good
yeah.
skill. You're quite talented, really.
What's your typical rank on board a ship, if you don't mind me asking?
It's been a number of months since I found me a good ship and a purpose out there on the ocean, see? But I've been known to be a rather decent second mate navigator.
Very cool.
Is your name Marius?
That's not my Monica.
What is your name, friend?
Orly.
Orly?
Orly Skiffback.
Orly skid.
Skiffback.
Better skip back.
Now, I've been forthcoming in my direct title. Might I ask what your individual names may be?
Well, of course, my name is Ford.
I'm Bo.
Caleb, widow guest.
Junior.
Nancy.
Caduceus, I don't. Okay, yeah.
Very well. Welcome to this shithole.
You say it's been a few months since your last passage on a ship? Steady work? What? Did I'm trying to Texas, Georgia, Louisiana.
Of course not.
We'll be very careful. We guarantee.
poke around places that act weird, strange magics and such. A lot of folks that get too curious and I'm not coming back.
That badass like oh.
Agreed.
Now she's older. She's got the best old ever had.
For lesson lights turn on. It was just, yeah, it was good. No, you were engaged.
Thank you.
Stepping into the light, you see the familiar and somewhat surprised face of Yasha. Ashley, if you want to jump over there, please don't mind.
Cue heavy metal music.
Well,
Thank you for helping.
well, here you are.
Yes, here I am.
And I think perhaps it's destiny. Do you believe in destiny?
No.
But you dream about islands and you go to them.
Oh, fucking shit.
He does this a lot,
I don't know
Yasha.
if I like you.
I know I like
Just
you.
go with it. Open up and he'll read into your inner thoughts.
Bo,
Yeah.
you know those people skills you've been working on?
Yeah.
You want to
pretty
go
good.
ask the Celezo if they mind telling some tourists about the fabled entrance to the Sluice Weave?
Okay.
No.
All right.
Okay.
So, my story, just so you know, I can really commit to this.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay.
I'm a tourist.
Yep.
I'm still Beau, right? I'm Beauregard the tourist.
You gonna use your real name?
Should I use my real name?
Try something else.
I'm Julia.
You don't look like a Julia.
I'm Leslie.
Sure.
Tracy?
Better.
Tracy.
Totally Tracy.
Okay, I look
Yep.
like a Tracy? Okay. So I'm Tracy from Zadash.
Okay.
And, you know, my parents are paying for just a little bit of a spring break so I can, like, go find myself before I go into college, right? Before I go to uni.
You know this
No, is this
person,
a
don't
thing?
you? This is somebody.
I'm trying to figure it out because if I'm just me, I'm just going to be an asshole, so I have to be somebody else.
That is very observant. Yeah.
So, and I heard about this mysterious sluice thing, and like.
Do that.
You want me to do this? Yeah.
But you don't
So I
have
should
any hair
take
on
my
the side
hair.
of your head, so.
Well, here.
Yeah.
So I'll just use this side.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Give it the old. Yeah.
is that good? Does
Fierce.
that work?
Yep.
Yeah. Do I find like the most insecure looking guy and then like use that?
I like it. Go with it.
All right. Okay.
Yep.
I go to the most insecure looking guy.
Okay.
We're going.
Make a general insight check to try and gauge which of them is the most insecure.
Insecurity check.
Jeez, I need to not use Gil's die ever. 14.
That's not bad.
Gil's, that's not bad at all.
I rolled it.
It's okay.
All right, you look, and of the two that are there, one of them seems to be pretty preoccupied with the ships that are being loaded, and one of them appears to be kind of half present, probably in mid-daydream, yawning at his post, and looks younger than the other one. You probably, between the two of them, he's probably the most insecure if you had to decide.
Gosh, in the water, just so beautiful. Man,
I'm sorry, can I help you?
it's hot out here. Just so moist. His hair, right? And I kind of. What's your name?
I'm sorry, I am working at the moment.
Great, because I could totally use some help.
And you see his eyes roll from it, and he goes, "What can I do to help you then?"
Well, you see, I'm from out of town. I'm Tracy, by the way. What's your name?
He sighs heavily and reaches out and finally takes the hand and goes, "Hello, I am Zelezo Mepar."
Mapel. Hi. Hi. It's just, I'm here and I'm trying to get the true Nicodranus experience while I'm in town. And, I've heard rumors from people, about this thing called the Sluice Weave. And, I would just love to see if it's real,
Make a persuasion check.
I love imagining Bo in the outfit that she's in.
Fucking bruises on her arms.
Stick off the back.
Old busted lip scars.
Although, to be fair, I've seen this many times at St. Patrick's Day parades in New York.
14.
Officer.
14?
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
I'm too dumb to be a risk, right?
Okay. He goes,
Happen to be a house.
he goes, "Oh, that is a very specific curiosity.
I'm into curiosities. Curious person.
Well, it's the sluice weave is a series of tunnels that were installed probably a century ago that are responsible for the ducts that guide water from the ocean to a series of small engines in the city that help propel the furnaces that the various
businesses and locations here that require that sort of intense power to utilize.
Wow. I hear they're haunted. Are they haunted?
Well, not haunted per se, but they're
Oh, you gave me a little smirk. They're totally haunted.
not haunted, but there are elements
give him, like,
to
a
it.
little, like...
He's like, he goes, there are also there are things that help maintain the sluice ducts and occasionally help protect elements of the bay if ever it's under attack.
I bet you're first in line to protect the city against an attack, aren't you?
I mean, there's been, about a year ago, they had this one ship that came into the ship, and there was these thieves at nights that would, and I happened to be on job at the moment, and so I bought,
So interesting. So have you been down there?
I haven't been down in the sluice area. There, I mean, the entrance, as far as I know, is mostly hidden. The one inside the city, but
So there's one inside the city.
somewhere I don't know.
Oh wow!
But
I
there
heard there was
is-
one in the ocean.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3, I think, that are right down off the side. Here, come here. And he kind of he leads you over.
We're all just aghast. Just like
I turned it forward and I go.
He leads you over across the dock for a bit, and he points down in the water and goes, I think somewhere in this vicinity there's sort of the intake tube or pipe where the ocean water is brought in to the sluice ducts.
Sounds like suction.
Make perception check. Make a
Perception?
This cake needs more layers, girl.
perception. Yes.
Okay, 15.
15. From this distance, it's too hard to see beneath the water. It gets a little too murky. But he points in a general direction, and you get kind of a loose idea of where it may be.
Wow, yeah.
It's like, what are you up to while you're in the city? Huh?
Wow, yeah, I'm so busy, just trying to fill my schedule with things. I should probably go now.
Of course, where are you staying?
I'm staying at the Chartreuse, the Lavish Chateau.
Oh, wow, that is a very expensive place.
I know, you probably couldn't afford it, so.
Well, you can see the visible, like, to his chest. He's like, well, perhaps I'll if you want other things to see around the city when I'm not on my post, I could maybe come by and give you a little tour.
Sure, that sounds great.
Of course. What are you doing right now? I only have about 40 minutes until I get to switch my shift, and then I'm off for the rest of the afternoon. So.
This is everything I want. This is so painful. I feel like I should make a concentration check on my spell.
I'm actually doing a quick little boat tour just right over there, but I'll be right back. Okay, bye.
He looks a bit kind of flabbergasted.
Just over there. I'll be right back. Just.
See you later. What was it? What was the name? Tracy?
Tracy. What was your name?
I kind of sits there for a second and just kind of.
Oh wait,
Tracy.
your name is Marpole. Merpole.
Don't write that down.
Wait,
That was
Marius.
Yeah, no, different name. But he just seems to kind of thinks to himself like Tracy, and then continues the rest of his post along the dockside.
I need a shower.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I think it was something deep down inside of me that I actually really hate. It's there. It's like maybe always been there. But I had to. Let's go. I don't want to talk about that anymore.
That's okay.
It's inside of you.
Who the fuck is Tracy?
Let's go.
Together, right, boy. 1, 2, 3, and we go.
All right. Going underwater, you hear the the diminishing squeak as it slowly vanishes beneath the surface. Caduceus and Caleb sitting up in the ship with a weasel and a puppy.
Oh yeah,
I'm holding the weasel. I'm holding the weasel. We gotta get rid of him at some point. Let it happen. Let it happen.
So as Bo swims, now Bo, go ahead and make an athletics check for me because you are technically carrying 2 passengers.
Weasel's about to die.
What will happen at the live show?
So, as the water bows up, you see it kind of burst like a bubble, and there, emerging from that space, below where it was, you see something that looks almost like an impressively large aquatic humanoid. Their chest and torso rather rotund, their skin a blue-green color, long, thin arms that end in somewhat webbed, clawed fingers, and their face somewhat fish-like with a wide mouth and small fins that crest the head. The lower half of its body seems obscured by rushing water at first, but then as it comes to its full stance at about 7-8 foot tall, you notice that the lower half of its body is just water, and it's just this constant swirling whirlwind, similar to the creatures you were fighting in the previous chamber. That dull glow seems to kind of emanate from most of its torso in this darkened chamber, and it kind of gives this faint light source just by its very presence. It has a small vest on and what looks to be like a sets of jewelry, including like this thick metal band that kind of hangs like a presentory necklace around its throat. It turns and looks up and says, "At your service," it seems to say with an undertone of exasperation and eye roll. Algar screams out to it again. "The archway craftsmen are complaining of cold furnaces and slow bellows. Please ensure enough water is being spun through the engines into the district." He snaps his fingers really tightly on his left hand. With a low grunt of brimming hatred, you see the creature raises its arms in a large stationary wave of water rises from the depths beside it. You watch as the liquid seems to form once more, and there's a slight kind of sparkle of energy around its hands. And this second of bowing forms into a large curved wave that seems to be perpetually crashing and then filling itself, similar to the creatures you just fought, but a much larger scale.
Grab my potion and take it.
Okay, I'll let that happen.
And then I will use my bonus action to use my mage hand to pour it into his gullet.
Sure, I'll let you do that. Okay.
Shoots under the water.
Sure.
Oh shit, and then that's gonna happen.
You watch his unconscious body goes like, whoa. Like the sheer force of the vial being jammed into his mouth. Make a Constitution saving. Caleb.
That was such a good noise.
Make a strength saving throw.
Natural 20.
You do not break any teeth.
Thanks, Spike Die.
Last thing.
Damn it! I was hoping. Having a crystal vial jammed with that speed into your mouth, there's a good chance you're going to lose a tooth or two.
Probably not on land. Yeah.
Is everybody okay, by the way? Do we have everything? Oh, God! And I'm going to cast turn undead.
Oh,
Okay.
To the guy.
Yeah.
Imagine if they start looking into everything you did with that kind of power. I mean, having access to that kind of creature, I can't imagine that you were on the up and up about everything you did.
especially if you start to admit that you did it all yourself, and I'll use Mask of Many Faces to look just like him.
People are going to have to start asking questions. Serious questions.
You hear his head hit the stone once more. It's like, who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck are you?
Make an intimidation check with advantage.
Taking Jorge to the docks, right?
No, we're all back together now.
I'm gonna go retrieve the boat.
Yes, okay. This is my fault for forgetting one feature earlier and trying to just fit it into the narrative here. Order of business. You arrived. You forged a letter.
We forged it.
You saw a weird undead thing again that was following you, and then Ford made it go away with a hand wave. You then took Jorge to the docks and sent him on his way.
Great.
There you go.
On the docks?
You guys are near the docks.
Ford swallowed a ball, and it's inside of him now, and he doesn't know what is going on.
We're gonna tell the truth about that.
I have a friend who had a similar problem years ago. If you would like, there is a physician we could have take a look at you and see if we can find a way to no longer have that problem.
Oh man, I want to hear that story.
I would be glad to.
Mama's not that kind
You
of
have a
ball
friend
that
who
he
swallowed a stone?
Frau Lavore, you have such a lovely daughter. She's so charming and such a spitfire. It has been such a pleasure to get to know her. I've been curious for weeks now, almost months, isn't it? I think it's almost months, what she was like as a child. Because she's such a joy now.
Young Jester was rambunctious, curious, ever running off, getting into, well, trouble and finding trouble, making trouble. For me, it was a joy. She was very quick to learn, ever smiling, brightening any chamber she walked into. She had a good sense for who needed to be taken down a peg.
Use thaumaturgy to make a dolphin sound.
Yes, Queen. Yes.
Night dolphins.
So thaumaturgy is not so much an audio mimicry spell, but you can make certain sounds happen. So I will say, roll a performance check.
Boy.
Come on.
Oh.
7.
There. I threw our engagement ring and our life, and I fed it to the rabies dolphins. It's over. Okay, it's over.
Make a deception check.
I like that your ring made a
Make a deception check with disadvantage.
While this is all going on, I'm going to cast message and send it to Caleb and say, there's something in the water. And there's some argument happening. Something's going wrong, horribly wrong, Caleb. We should get out of here. You can respond to this message.
My mom was right. I never should have gotten involved with you.
I know that I am so close to the end of this spell, and I'm just going to push
Look, and this is why every time I try to talk to me, you play with your toys.
The figure
Yeah.
kind of gets within 15 feet of where you're standing and he says, "Hey, piss off."
Hey, you know what? You piss off, okay? I've had a rough day, okay? I just wanted to be by myself in the ocean.
Closes his fist.
Oh no.
3 arrows get loosed from the ship in your direction.
I'm going to use my bonus action to use the single charge on Summer's Eve. Doesn't use a spell slot to Misty Step from my position in the water up to where Marius is.
All right.
Is that Summer's Eve a douche?
Yes, it is. I wasn't gonna...
Summer's what? What's the name of the sword?
It's definitely for when your vajayjay itches.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh.
No, it's Summer's Dance.
Summer's Dance. That's the best ever.
Sponsor us, Summer's Eve.
Summer's Eve from now on.
Tell us about your patron, Ford.
8 points of thunder damage. Whoa.
Well, it doesn't kill Marius. That's good.
That's good.
All right, so there's this blast, this loud, thunderous sound, which may have gotten the attention of a nearby Zlezo or two.
Oh boy.
Oh, God. Where's the reset button?
Yeah. Load the latest save file.
Maybe just reach into the NES and push the game up and down.
There's none in view currently, so you don't know. It could be a while.
Roll is so garbage.
He's incapacitated.
Do I get advantage because he's incapacitated?
No, it doesn't matter. You grab him. I just wanted to see you roll. He's not fighting at all. He's literally just standing there going. You just grab him. You just grab him.
Amazing. So I heard some voice from the boat yell out, "Burn it!" So out comes the bat guano and the sulfur and slap, and a beam rockets out 150-foot range out to about here and erupts.
Oh,
Okay.
Big black powder, please.
Alrighty.
Killing everyone on the boat.
So go ahead.
Even know who they are.
They deserve to die.
This is not a moral group by any stretch of the imagination.
They are trying.
It feels like we're really in battle now.
Caduceus, you do hear a ways away, not here yet, but you do hear some voices and footfalls, armored footfalls. You get the sense that Zalezo are on their way.
Send a little bit of arcane energy to the transmutation stone and give myself extra speed as well.
You can do that.
So I can use my action, my movement, and my bonus action to move full movement at 40. So Vex is back.
Vex is back.
I am now on the boat.
Right here.
Remember how, Jester, you couldn't come back to this town?
Yeah.
Well, now we all can. You're never gonna see your mom again. Sorry.
The weird butterfly effect of D&D actions.
This was just fucked from the first.
Just gonna have a conversation with them.
All right, so the guards are. The one sailor is below deck right now.
Ford! I still try real hard.
Oh man.
I do what I think. Tie that there. Tie that. Okay.
Make an intelligence check.
Yeah, okay.
Smashing my head and fucking bow.
Don't do it. You only have
All
1
right.
hit point.
I fall unconscious.
Yeah.
When I wake up, this will all be over. I do that. I do
No,
that.
you don't.
Yes, I do.
Okay, Ford.
Yep.
That's a bad idea.
Don't do
I
that.
do it.
Okay,
I do it.
Ford, in a fit of frustration and anger, once the rudder is locked in place and the ship begins to turn in our position, just bashes his head and like a very much like a so stupid movement. It doesn't knock you unconscious, but you're dizzy as fuck. You have to hit your head real hard on there to do a point of damage. Do you want to do that?
No, that's fine. Frustration's good.
Like frustration, you'll hurt yourself, but like to take a point of damage,
Frustration's fine.
yeah.
Oh God, are we gonna sink?
Why would you say that out loud? What's wrong with you?
No, that's appropriate for today. Yeah.
So,
Got my axe, the duplicate, and I'm gonna like act like she hits herself with it. Jesus, so stupid.
Yes.
And goes and falls into the water.
that's pretty good. Okay.
He commits suicide in front of them.
The leader dog was like, no! Who considers you a friend at the moment
Right.
and is like seemingly really distraught to watch this happen.
What is happening?
So she's gonna be like floating in the water, and then I'm gonna go.
Take help. So they just gonna start darting this way, shouting. These guys all begin to inspect and try to see if they can find the poor woman. This guy dives into the water to try and see if he can save her. And is now like swimming in the water going, where are you? No, you have so much to live for. So that's their action. Caduceus.
No.
I'm swimming full speed out directly out into the ocean.
Right now.
Caduceus is
30. You can. That's as much as you can get because it's half movement in the water.
He's never seen the ocean before.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not having a good. This
So
is
brave.
This is not going well for me.
No.
I'm not a happy camper.
Do you even have dark vision?
No.
No?
You're swimming out into the dark.
There's torches.
For
For
I'm not
now.
going like
Yeah, there is a single torch over here that kind of is loosely lighting the vicinity.
And I assume that there's some kind of light on those.
So Caduceus, you do have a high passive perception. There are shapes in the water below.
Oh my god.
Would I have noticed that before swimming 30 feet out?
No. They weren't immediately at night with no. You're just you're getting out under the dock and you kind of like, in a little bit of light that's coming through from the moonlight, you look and you could see something kind of like in the water. Ford, your turn.
Keeping an eye out for Caduceus, start to steer the ship along the coastline.
All right, make a perception check, please.
Jordan.
I don't think it's just when you see an old.
18. You do.
As an old man swimming in the
You do see.
Geriatric patient.
This could not be more fucked. I'm so happy. I would.
Keep going.
This went so far from any of my expectations. I love Dungeons and Dragons.
Fuck that guy. Where's Caduceus?
All right. All right. So keeping up with that.
Glad we killed a half dozen people to know what we already knew.
We didn't know that already.
I did not know
We
about
didn't
this
know that.
Vantika or her ship.
Her name's right here. It says,
We
meet
didn't
the
know
captain
she
of
was the
Vantika.
captain.
Anything about her?
We could have
We
asked.
didn't know what her ship was about. Let's go downstairs. Maybe we can find something useful.
Yeah.
To be fair, the goal was to just ask, and then it kind of got out of hand.
Maybe there will be lunch meats down there. We can make a sandwich.
Caleb's heading down to start searching
I'll
below
follow
deck.
him.
We don't have a dog anymore.
Oh yeah! Oh, Professor Thaddeus! Who? Professor Thaddeus!
Professor Thaddeus is somewhere at the city.
Splash one. Splash one.
I didn't try to throw up some bait. Woo!
Make an animal handling check.
Okay. I'm gonna roll big. I'm not gonna roll big.
He's gonna tear
I'm
that
gonna roll
coat
great.
check guy
Quarter mile out to sea.
No, you had him.
I had him with me, 19.
Not while fighting.
Not while fighting.
But yeah, imagine when I fought, I was like,
So,
hang out.
Total of what?
19.
19. You're shouting out to the sky. Time passes. No Professor Thaddeus.
He's eating mice.
Yes, he's happy. He's happy that way.
Glad you're okay.
You keep leaving.
You keep finding me. Or they do.
I think you might have the right idea.
No.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit.
Yasha kind of stands up and looks back towards you guys and goes over and takes a rope and begins helping you guys just kind of hold on to the sails.
No, I don't want to do that. That was really sad.
Right. We want to just, get along. We're all tired. I'm tired. But I'll go to work if I need to.
Make an intimidation check.
That's how we know Caleb is serious. But
outside.
18. I wasn't one of the important ones.
That's you
very
should be
important.
Yeah.
You survived this brutal attack. You are extremely
He's sitting there going,
strong.
yeah.
Everyone
Yeah, you're
else
right.
died.
Yeah.
You had an
So
axe
fuck
in your
him.
head.
I'm a survivor.
You had an axe in
Yeah.
your head
Yeah.
and you survived.
I have a what?
You have
And he reaches back and goes like, there's like still blood back there, of course. And he's like, okay. Is it bad?
It's nothing for you.
Do not
It's
worry.
nothing. Okay. Missed all the major organs. You're fine.
Yeah.
Since we have a carpenter on board, on the side of the ship it says The Mist.
We should change the name.
We should get some new letters
like
going.
Mysterious Ball.
Yeah,
The
well,
Mysterious Ball.
The Mistress of the Loins. I don't know, what would be a good name?
A mistake.
That's not bad.
Yeah. That's really on brand.
we took the mist and now it's a mistake.
Oh.
Did my spell?
So, as a result of us not mostly knowing how to sail, you are also the first mate.
Okay.
Congratulations.
It's a big promotion for him. Carpenter to first base.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Welcome to the Mighty Nine.
You just gotta come up.
Thank you. Should I go get my stuff then?
You're the first mate. Why don't you give us an order?
You see, like he points towards you, and he's not a very intelligent fella.
I'll still double.
Go fetch me some dried meat.
Yeah, don't feel like doing that to me. Maybe you should just go upstairs.
I'm gonna go lay down for a minute. You can see Yasha's even having to like wedge against the side because to get you further enough down, it's about 10 feet from the edge of the stern. So Yasha's having to get her foot caught up underneath the railing.
Doing this motion.
Oh, jeez.
I'm holding paint.
Oh, this is the paint can upside down.
Yes.
And you're dipping.
And I'm dipping because I'm hanging upside down.
There. Gift of the week, right there. All right. So, okay, so you acquire that bit.
I would say that, and I look like a somewhat plump, good Zimnian boy, and blonde, and a little rounder.
Oh, a Zimnian boy.
Yeah, a little bit. And I'm just going to... Don't make me run, I'm full of chocolates. I saw Ford
So, good luck.
I come wandering up.
We need a crew.
I look like Captain Crunch, by the way.
To try and inspect what the source of this light is, and it's a jellyfish bloom. You see hundreds and hundreds of these tiny jellyfish below the surface that are giving this faint kind of bioluminescent blues and pinks and variety of colors in that kind of pastel spectrum as they just kind of pass under the waves as you move by. And then you look out beyond that and you can see a few more. And for the next hour or so, you just kind of look over the water and pass by these beautiful little beacons of color in the middle of this dark black ocean.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah. I've never seen anything like this.
Last thing you want to do is jump in there, though. That is a bad time.
Really?
Yeah, jellyfish sting, and it's quite painful.
Sometimes things that are the most beautiful are the things that can hurt you the worst. Are you worried about where we're going?
No. No, I'm more anxious to get there. My curiosity, I suppose, overrides my fear.
That's good. You're not afraid that this captain is going to hurt you?
No, I don't think I had gotten that far. Plus, I have the sphere. Captain Vontikin doesn't.
That's true.
I feel like we take care of ourselves pretty well.
Yeah. I promise I'll heal you if you start to hurt, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you ever get sad?
Sad?
Yeah, that sometimes things don't work out the way you were hoping.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I suppose I get sad. Are you sad, Jester?
Only sometimes. But it passes really quickly.
I'm sometimes sad about the things that I've had before that I won't have anymore. And I sometimes wish that things were different. What makes you sad?
I miss my mama already. I thought we could see her longer.
I am sorry that we left in the way that we did. Would your mom ever think of leaving Nicodranas?
I don't know. She thought about it one time with my dad. She was planning to leave with him. But then he never came back.
Right. What would you want for her? To stay there and grow old, or?
I would like for her to be happy. I would like for him to love her. I don't know. I would like for her to not have to work anymore.
It's very noble of you. Yeah.
I'm pretty noble.
Well, how about on some of these islands, I've heard that there is treasure.
Oh, really?
Hard to find. I'm not making any promises, but if we play our cards right and we take care of each other, we might return a bit wealthier than we left.
This is a pretty good plan. And then we can use that money to bribe the gentleman to go back and woo my mama again.
Or give it to your mom and have her go find the gentleman, but she's just amazing.
That could work too.
Yeah. Me isn't. Yeah, no.
You didn't download the app, then, didn't you? So you couldn't hire him.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
you go-
just a
so
photo opportunity.
what's your captain
for
name
Instagram.
to your
That's all
crew?
that is.
My captain name?
They need to have to know who their captain is, who they're gonna go towards for.
Captain Tusk Tooth.
Captain Tusktooth. There we go.
Wait,
They're
you're
very
Captain
confused because there are no tusks
okay,
visible
okay.
Nope.
on Tusktooth.
Out of idle curiosity, why have you been trying to butter me up?
Well, you joined us a little late in our adventures, but many of us, not me, of course, but many of us were maybe, outcasts or whatever before. And over the course of spending some time together and traveling and doing some good things, mostly good things, but a few bad things together, we've come to rely on each other, and it doesn't feel like we're outcasts as much anymore, and just trying to maintain that sort of sense of a unit. Because even though we've made some mistakes, and will probably continue to, feels like that we're a little bit better when we're together. This other fellow in the group, Molly Mock, he sort of showed us that by dying. I'm just trying to keep us together.
Well,
We all have our own things, right? I'm sure you have your own thing.
I do. And for the record, I'm on board for now.
Yeah.
Captaining the ship for a full day, too.
Sure.
So.
Before I go, so I'm going to politely ask any of the fish and things that are in the ocean to let us know if there's trouble up ahead,
Okay.
if they would be so kind.
You get the sense that the fish would be happy to.
Mm-hmm.
As they.
I'm a lunatic, aren't
Yeah,
I? There's
yeah.
just no. Okay.
No, it's.
I mean, like,
it's
I
great.
roll it. Okay, because I have a roll for this, but I'm okay. Cool.
No, yeah, you kind of lean over the side of the boat and talking to the fish that pass by.
Okay. Just.
And you get the sense of it's like, sure.
You can talk to them.
Yeah.
They can't talk back.
And they're nowhere near as fast as the ship. So within the sphere of perception that a fish has, the ones that are now far behind you will definitely let you know when you come across something. Way to play that.
I don't know that.
I know, no, and I love playing the night.
Yeah.
No, my mouth is too small for a human jaw to make perfect contact.
Just cup his nose. Just
No, I can't get my mouth wide enough. Too many teeth.
I'll
are in
do
the way.
it.
That would be good. Yeah, you or Bo. Really?
I drop down. I have like really good medicine training.
All right.
Okay. Well, Caleb, just for the sake of it, roll a deception check.
Yeah, sure. yeah, sure.
Just out of curiosity.
It's pretty good. I'm 20.
Yeah.
Caleb always
Caleb's having a rough,
just throwing fun.
terrible. Yeah. All right. So so are you?
I'm just gonna try to blow into his mouth as hard as I can.
Yeah. It's super uncomfortable, Caleb.
I think it'll help.
Yeah.
He's still not out of the woods. I think we all need to pray.
That's not what I was expecting.
Oh, good, you're alive.
Do you want to lead the prayer?
Yes.
You're now an inch of water in the bottom of the ship. Anyone else doing anything to help here?
Some barrels. Come on, Captain, tell us what to do.
I have no idea. Abandoned ship!
Can I use one of the barrels?
That's all right. 26.
26. No dock. No dock. But you do see another ship.
What's your spell do?
You're cruising and just keeping an eye closely. You watch as the ship was stationary begins to move in the direction you're traveling to head you off.
We're gonna ground this ship. We're going straight into the beach, and we're gonna run our asses into the fucking jungle.
How will we get back?
I don't know. We're not there yet.
You are a terrible captain.
I throw not overboard. Full sail.
All right.
I thought just didn't grab break back. No, just kidding.
You know that video of the monkeys throwing the raccoon?
Oh yeah.
That's what I imagine.
Okay. It's dual mast.
Yep. Does it have some trapdoors or doors on the side of the?
Well, make a perception check.
Yeah. 16.
16. You look and you don't see any, and then you do because one of them opens. You watch.
From down below inside the bubble of Leomin's tiny hut, I pull out the wire and I cast message up to Ford and say, I have plugged the bottom of the ship, so I think our troubles are behind us now.
Can I reply to that message? We're about to be boarded by fucking pirates.
The ship. The rest, take it into shore with Boulder Gut. And points to the ogre, and the ogre goes,
To shore. Jesus.
This one.
I'm a pirate.
Hashtag I'm a pirate.
Pirate Sapphire.
It's adorable. And how did this terrible, terrible thing happen to you? And she reaches up and kind of touches the side of your neck.
Oh, God.
Her hand passes through
It's real sore.
the illusion, and she steps back and goes,
Shit.
All part of the plan.
I must commend you. It has been a very long time since someone has been so bold with such massive balls to come onto my ship. And think that perhaps I got where I am today not by seeing through a few paltry illusions.
Well, I must commend you on your perceptiveness. My balls are quite large.
drop the disguise self. Your charges for the evening at
Vera?
Oh, Jesus!
Caleb died.
Caduceus has been shot!
Sorry.
You see, this object, this sphere, it needs to return. There is a temple in there that is from long ago and has been since refitted by its current denizens. Something at the very bottom of that temple requires to be reunited with this thing I seek. So,
What is it at the bottom of the temple?
does the name Uk'otoa mean anything to you?
Sure as fuck doesn't. Could you say that again slower?
Yeah, I'm sorry, you have a very thick accent. Sometimes it is. I'm losing a couple of things here and there, no offense.
She, you see as she throws a quick dagger in the direction of Caleb that drags the cheese from his hand and sticks to the wall.
Was I eating cheese?
Apparently. You were.
My perception is so low.
Stay away from the captain's cheese!
I thought that was a metaphor.
That was a triple-aged Scooter.
No, but really, what did you say? What was the name?
Uk'otoa. Spelled U-K'-O-T-O-A. Uk'otoa, the great Leviathan.
Gate of the Leviathan?
The great Leviathan.
Oh, the great Leviathan. The great
Well, I
Leviathan.
have a good sense of it.
It's a fucking Leviathan.
Friggin' world.
I don't know what the fuck that means. It's in your book. It's in your book.
Her eyes are trained on Ford as she says this. For you see, I am the chosen of Uk'otoa. As she pulls the scarf down from under her neck, and you can see kind of in the sternum there's a tattoo of an eye.
You're Uk'otoa?
No, she's she's chosen.
You're the chosen of Uk'otoa. Sorry.
Yeah.
The sound, the speed, the...
You see, this great serpent once ruled the Lucidian Ocean.
Leviathan.
Your reactions are killing me, Travis. Shortly after the calamity washed this land clean, and Zahir, the cloaked serpent god, was banished long away, one of his greatest creations was left to rule this ocean. The indigenous people of this series of islands, the Sven Islands, called the Kinau, were granted the blessing of Uk'otoa. And nothing. Nothing and no one could stand before them. However, the surviving worshippers of this once powerful god now banished grew jealous. And sealed him beneath the rocky depths of the ocean, defaced the temples built in their name. I seek to bring him back. And with their blessing, these seeds were mine. So let me tell you, you've put in with the proper lot.
So say we all. Yeah.
She puts the scarf back up to hide the tattoo. So, I've shown you mine. You show me yours.
Caleb is in the background just pulling cheese on the wall. This
Are
going to be good.
I mean, are we all supposed to get naked now? I don't.
She doesn't flinch.
Actually, if we're going to be getting ready for some trouble, I better change into my trouble gear if we're going there. And I'm going to drop disguise self.
Which puts your head pretty much right into the top.
I try not to frighten people, but I figure if we're getting messy.
I love this color palette.
Thank you. I like this whole room. I think you've done a really good job with it. This is great.
So, back to Ford.
In just a moment.
You have some secret tattoos that we haven't seen yet?
No. Ford, maybe we should just come clean and form an actual partnership with this person. If we keep lying to her, we're gonna lose.
I'm pretty sure you're not playing this out all the way. That shit's in my body, okay?
You guys, you realize she's standing right here.
We're whispering.
We're stage whispering.
I turn around and I just start dancing to distract her from what we're doing.
Avantika.
Yes?
Make a performance check.
Oh, wait. Oh my god, that's good. 20.
You can tell the captain's... Yes, but it's also kind of like peeking out the corner of her eye at this strange display.
Hold on. Let's take advantage of this. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
Well, clarifying question. Did Avantika just watch Ford yell at Not, that shit is in my body?
No.
She's...
I want to know.
You don't know if she's heard it, but you guys are in a very enclosed space, and she sees you all deliberating about something that you're all deciding whether or not to reveal.
Right.
So, like, she's not just like, oh, everything's fine. She knows something's up, and she's just waiting for someone to come out with it.
Avantika.
This big smile curls across her face, and you watch her go a little flush. She goes, what kind of dreams?
Do you often wake up vomiting salt water? Do you have wet dreams?
You
don't have to be embarrassed.
You beat me to that by like 0.2346 seconds.
She beats you to the wet dream?
She looks a little confused, but says, no, unlike some, I can hold my brine.
Not looking at me, right? You have dreams. I've had dreams of being deep underwater. There's a giant eye that sees me. I hear a voice speaking to me, but I can't reply. Does that ring any bells?
Her smile just grows wider. So, Katoa has spoken to you as well. So perhaps it was not just some strange coincidence you found your way here, then?
Perhaps not. Perhaps this is destiny. I must
you
tell
guys.
you, I am very eager to see what this leads to. I haven't been entirely honest. The item you seek does not lie on Vile Court. What the fuck is it called? Vodka! It does not reside there. I have it protected in an alternate dimension, and I'll use minor image to show the sphere and make it disappear.
Also, we're not just some dumbass crew we hired. We totally murdered all of your guys, so...
And you know what the craziest part is? We don't really know why we did it.
There were several eyes in that Ouroboros.
Right.
I wonder if that's how many other chosen ones there are.
Oh my god, what if there's that many other eyeballs?
Yeah, there might be.
And you can like swallow them all and then you become like ultra powerful.
Or I can summon the dragon.
I think you get a wish.
No, some sort of a action than on an enemy boat.
What the?
Ship. It's a ship.
How many? Yeah. It's 3 masts.
3 masts.
3 masts.
Mizzen mast, main mast, foremast. I got it.
Having a fair understanding of the half-orc body, while Ford is generally a little more lithe and trimmer than most more burly half-orcs, still decent build. But you don't feel any particular strange lumps.
Maybe lower. Go lower. You know, the V.
If you could be succinct, I'm a little fucking ticklish, okay?
Sorry, hello?
I'll have Costco. Is there a stairs or a ladder near here?
Make a perception check.
Okay, that's a 4.
You're not sure. You see a couple of chairs, a table, like a card table that's currently empty. You can see the hallway continues past where this illusion is happening.
Card table that's currently empty. Costco's gonna sit down at that card table and start dealing 2 hands.
Oh my god.
As he does so, the guy's like, Giovanni, the captain will be right here. Just looks really confused.
Is there a way to slip by? Or?
At your stealth check, yes, there is.
Okay, I'm gonna
dart
slip
past,
by the back, yeah.
And right at that moment, you look over your shoulder and you can see the captain is now heading down the hallway in your direction.
Okay, I'll make the effect disappear.
He goes, what?
Oh, but I'll leave the effect of the cards still there.
You run to the end of the hallway, and just as you see there's stairs descending down into the cargo hold below, and you hear over your shoulder, and where is he? No, but Academy, he was right, look at the cards! You hear the argument and the guy desperately trying to explain what he just saw. So, I would like to talk with you about how you have been reached out to, how you are touched by this magnificent entity. Ukatoa. It has been a very long time since I've met anyone else chosen. So please tell me how this happened.
Before this goes any further, because I'm fascinated.
Yeah?
I would like to attempt to go into Frumpkin, the 1-ounce elf owl, if possible.
Yep. Frumpkin is still kind of up on the deck.
Yeah. I remember where that room was, so Frumpkin is taking a little fly around.
Okay.
It's better when somebody's watching.
All right. So Frumpkin goes and perches on the outer balcony of the Squall Eater.
Captain, I admit I too am very encouraged to find someone that seems to have gone through the same sort of visions and trials that I have. You said it's been a long time since you've met another chosen? Are you saying you've met previous? I found myself feeling I was the only one that was experiencing this vision.
Thought you were gonna say something else.
She kind of leans her shoulder against the doorway, looking over at your eyes, kind of distantly reaching through memories, and goes, there has been one. It's been many years. Oh. This came to me through a series of unexpected. You see her searching for the right words and says, I've always considered myself a very lucky. And at first I thought this was a terrible portent. When this beautiful Okutoa spoke to me. But it was a purpose that nobody else in Darko was built on. And with that, I began to get back. And it took a while, but each of them began to believe as well. All of them support. And when this is done, the blessing is they be as unstoppable behind me as I am on the sea.
The blessing, you say? I haven't heard speak blessing. I've heard words of encouragement. And your crew believes as you do.
They have now, yes. Beautiful.
Exactly the word I was searching for. Speaking of beautiful. I was so taken by that marking, that tattoo you had. I was wondering if you might show it to me again.
I think
Make a
they're about
persuasion
to
check.
get naked.
I'm uncomfortable with what's happening. Natural 20.
She kind of tugs down the scarf to reveal the tattoo without breaking eye contact and goes, I'll do you one better.
Zip?
Removes the glove off of her right hand. And in the palm, you see a familiar yellow eye emerging from the center.
Okay,
This is the blessing, at least the first stage. I have been chosen to be one step to his unsealing.
Are you between you, like a fucking eye or a tattoo of an eye?
Make a perception check.
Yeah, 16.
You hope it's a tattoo, but the way the candlelight hits, it looks smooth.
Oh, God.
Somewhat glassy.
Fuck, that's getting weird. There's some Pan Labyrinth bullshit going on. My. Fuck it. I feel now you and I are more connected than I could have ever imagined, and I'll summon the sword.
With a flash and a scattering of ocean water across the far wall of the chamber, the falchion emerges in your grasp. It's what it's always done!
Wait,
Which sword? What do you mean sword?
Caleb can't hear any of this, but in the middle of the room he says, "It is getting very kinky in that room."
Jester's just pacing back and forth.
Yeah.
She immediately takes a step forward, like holding her palm forward still, and not even looking at you, just looking at the sword and specifically focusing on the eye in the center of the hilt. And she's speechless for a moment. You hear her breathe in suddenly. Then perhaps it was destiny.
Perhaps it was. Do you know what will happen if we...
Sorry. Sorry.
Do you know what will happen if we take this sphere to the place of its choosing? Have you seen what's unleashed? Or have you only heard?
I've only heard. As far as I know, when these survivors of Zahir, this long-sealed god, grew jealous that they are the ones who put Uk'otoa away below the ocean. If I'm correct, and this is one of the original temples, then I think we can bring him back.
Oh my God, Matt and Travis are gonna make out!
It's just so much, you guys. It's just so much.
Details! What is happening? What is happening?
I confess, having spent so much time on the water, the command over it seems like too great a gift to receive, but I crave it.
She steps around the desk.
Oh, fuck.
And just places her fingers on the hilt of the sword where the eye is. Then you'll need your rest.
Indeed.
M'lady.
We will all... I will put my hand on hers and say, we will all need our rest for the trials to come. Thank you for sharing your story with me. I don't feel quite as alone in this.
Thank you for your honesty, eventually.
It's like an onion, you gotta peel it, you know.
Understood. Anyway, and she pulls her hand away. Go. And may sweet dreams find you.
I turn and I head towards the door, and as I get there, I look back. And I walk away.
All right.
Oh my God.
I thought they were going to make Boomson, but it did not happen.
They didn't.
At this point, the door opens and Ford returns to the room.
We weren't listening to anything at all. We know everything. Can you please fill in the details?
What's going on? What did you guys do, huh?
What happened?
Want a 7-day-old banana?
No, thank you. Where did that even come from? That's okay. Not much, actually. She's far more under the influence of whatever this is than I initially thought. She took off her glove and there was an eye in the palm of her hand, and not another tattoo. I think it was like a fucking eye. Yeah, I know. So she showed me hers and I showed her mine.
Oh.
Eyes are eyes on the sword. Right.
Did you tell her the orb was inside of you?
I did not.
Well, I'm assuming if she's got the eyeball in her hand, she has an orb inside of her.
Fuck.
Yeah!
I didn't even think of that.
I mean, it's got to be right.
Yep.
Or
No, God damn it! Should we leave the stage? Do we need to leave the stage?
Oh.
you don't need to. That was more helpful earlier in the campaign when everything was a super mystery. He kind of spilled all the beans recently, so it's fine. You walk in darkness. Your eyes trained on a barely visible horizon of faded blue. The lightless midnight horizon that breaks this endless void. The ground is soft beneath your feet, and your slow gait bounces slightly with each step, like time is crawling in this buoyant space. You look down at yourself, obscured by shadow, until a faint yellow light bursts from your sword. The light of a yellow eye now open from the hilt like a lantern, lighting a tangled forest of kelp before you. Bubbles escape the corner of your mouth, but you breathe the waters calmly like a thick vapor. You search through the mass of shifting, slick sea vines, eventually coming upon the base of a staircase, going up. Crow. What do you do?
I climb those motherfucking stairs.
As you ascend the cold stone stairs, the beam of the eye lighting the way, your passage is suddenly blocked by something. A statue, humanoid but featureless. Provoke.
I'll fire 2 blasts of Eldritch Blast at it.
Statue breaks apart, its various shards emerging from the detonation and slowly sinking in what is now the thick waters around you. As the head stumbles past the light at the edge of your sword, the face is recognizable in a flash. Sabian. You push beyond continuing to ascend the stairs. You come upon another statue, larger and looming more than the last. What do you do?
Witch bolt. Right to its chest.
As the darkened energy arcs from the hilt of your blade, hitting it, you watch as the cracks spider up the stone before it detonates into hundreds of shards of dark stone. You see half of the face slowly hit and clatter onto the stonework before falling off to the side. Vandrin. Do you continue up?
The stairs, are they staying the same? Is there anything at the foot of the statue after they break apart?
Looking down, the statue itself is now immaterial. You've entirely annihilated it, and you glance over the side, and what few shards still remain slowly drift beyond your view into the dark abyss below.
I'll move forward.
Continuing to ascend these steps one by one. They grow more and more narrow, but you think you see what appears to be an approaching surface of some kind. You're clear the water, suddenly breaking the surface, and you're standing in a dark stone chamber. You manage to get all the way up, standing within the ankle-high water in the middle of the stone chamber, and you watch as all the liquid begins to drain. Until there's no more water around you.
revealing in the center of this chamber an intricate circle in the ground, maybe 2 feet across. Beautiful, ancient craftsmanship, detailed to depict a serpent body coiled. Carved eyes emerging from the creature's body every few inches. The center of the water is a circle of water, like a well.
Watching.
What do you do?
I'll summon the sword and hold the eye up, facing the circle.
As you pull the blade up, you see the light hits the water and is absorbed by it. You don't see anything beneath it. It seems to be almost just a void that eats the light.
Void that eats the light. Can I walk into the center of the circle?
You step into it?
Well, I definitely do now.
Well, is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay. You step into the circle. It's only a few inches deep of water, and your feet feel the bottom. It is shallow. But you're now standing above it. It's only about 2 feet across, so it's basically you standing over this small pool.
Is there a ceiling? Are there walls? Are there statues in this space?
Looking around you, you can see stone walls, and you can see a ceiling above you. It is this almost plain, featureless room, aside from the very edges of what looks to be stone stacked upon itself.
Watching. Can I look into the eye of the sword? Do I see anything?
You look towards the hilt, and the eye just stares back at you, the light kind of temporarily blinding you for a moment as you adjust.
What the fuck? Can I try and take the edge of the blade and press it into the floor?
You press the blade in through the water, and it hits the stone.
Jesus. I don't know what you want from me!
No response. Then you hear once more.
Watch.
I've stared at the eye. Fuck. I have no idea.
Make a perception check.
Ooh, 19.
19. The handle of the sword is somewhat slick in your grasp from the water you were traveling from before, and you feel the blade almost trying to turn in your grasp, turning the eye away from you.
I'll let it go where it's leading and point it towards the floor.
It slowly finds its way, just resting, facing down towards the pool.
Okay. Sure. Can I put my face in the water?
You place your face down into the water, and as opposed to the stone surface you've seen there, it is just this vacuous black void. And there you see in a sudden instant, the eye opens up before you, the bright yellow light enveloping you. Suddenly there's searing heat, and you pull back out of the pool, and the entire chamber is filled with blazing hot steam. It hurts at first, but then it begins to feel nice. This burning sensation crawling across your body, going instead from pain to a surge of strength, of control, of purpose. The voice again says,
Reward.
and as you look up around you, the stone falls away, and on the distance, you can see that horizon once more. Now an endless ocean. You can see the faint ripples of waves across a sourceless bit of moonlight. And there you just see dozens of ships coming towards you. What do you do?
Can I look behind myself real fast?
You turn behind you and it is just darkness, inky, infinite.
A shitload of ships coming towards me. Yeah, cool. Are there any pigeons in this dream?
Make a perception check.
16!
No.
Can I reach my hand out and try and control the ships?
As you concentrate, looking towards the right of you, where it looks like 4 or 5 vessels are in a localized portion of this black, endless ocean, as you concentrate, you see the water begin to boil beneath them.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and grab whatever the fuck that is and pull it up.
You watch as the ocean fires up like a spire, a pillar of solid ocean water. You watch as the ships are scattered in different directions as it slams them down once more, scattering them into thousands of pieces of splintered wood.
Can I take both hands and just do a coup de grace, like 2 big over the top?
You watch as the center of the ocean parts, giving this slight vacuum, this almost dual-sided abyssal crevice in the center of the ocean. On the opposite ends of where your hands rise, you watch the waves rise up, and in one fell swoop, 2 solid crystalline walls of water slam together, and then even out. As the ripples subside, all you can see are the thousands and thousands of glittering shards of what once were that armada.
Fucking Moses shit.
Don't wake up, don't wake up, don't wake up, don't wake up.
Take it.
And you wake up.
Obscuring your procession deeper into this.
Caduceus, can I ask you, what do you hear when you converse?
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you want to hear it, you have to listen for it. You hear that? You hear that?
No.
What are you hearing then?
Nothing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's good. All right. They're not saying anything.
Okay.
Hey, is there any benefit to showing? I whisper. Is there any benefit to showing the Captain Avantika that letter we found that she wrote?
We should ask Ford before we do that.
All right. What's Ford doing right now? Hey, Ford!
Huh?
Ford! I whisper. Is there any benefit to showing Captain Avantika the letter that I think she wrote?
Why would we do that?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking. I'm a simple goblin. I don't know the world-weary ways of a sailor.
You certainly could. I don't see what harm it could bring.
Stripy sailor outfit.
Sure, go for it.
No, I'll just hang on to it. If she ever is like, I don't know. If we ever need it, well, we got it.
I walk over. Hey, are we whispering? Oh, sorry. Sorry, we're whispering.
Yeah.
Never mind. We were just talking about this letter, but don't show Avantika. We could use it to copy her handwriting and write a check.
You never show people their stolen mail.
Oh, of course. I should have asked you first.
Yeah, don't. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Keep that shit on lock.
He's rolling dice, you guys.
Sage advice.
Yeah, we should probably. Is the shack large enough to help?
I'm going to just very quickly cast Eyes of the Grave.
Eyes of the what?
So anything undead within 60 feet is going to glow in my. I'm going to get a little glow off anything that registers as undead.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Beauregard starts glowing.
You
twist.
You get a very, very faint undead aura emanating from Jamedi.
Still a twist.
Really? Out of the fucking blue.
So I'm gonna crawl up to Ford in the line at some point.
Okay.
Been keeping my eye out, getting a lay of the land, and Jamedi is not quite alive.
I'm sorry, did you say not quite?
Alive. It's not quite alive.
Am I still close enough to where I can overhear this?
Just keep that. I don't think it's an appropriate moment to bring something like that up, but it's worth.
Do you detect anything sinister?
Yeah, it's not quite alive. I mean, that's
right. Yeah, that's inherent. Sure. Right.
Stupid anything, question. I feel like I'm exercising an enormous amount of willpower, just not dealing with. I mean, it just doesn't seem like there's a good advantage to dealing with this now, but yeah, there's something weird there.
Would you hang out with me for a moment?
Yeah.
Excellent. Let's stand right here, and I casually pull out the wire, and I cast message to Not. Not, would you please go? I need you to speak to Avantika and Jamedi together for a moment, please.
You need me to speak to Avantika and Jamedi?
What are you saying?
Sorry. What?
Talking to yourself?
Oh. Yeah. Recast. What do you need me to say? You can respond to this message.
Just distract them, please.
Oh.
What did he say?
Got it.
What is it? What did he say?
Okay. I'll get to you when I'm done. Okay.
What did he say?
That was Caleb. He wants me to go distract Avantika and Jumanji for a moment. Do you want to come help me?
Okay.
What should we do?
Should we do like a dance? Should we like...
We practiced one?
I mean, we did a really good one before,
yeah.
So yeah, we could do that for them.
We could try to teach it to them.
Yeah.
Great. Hoi hoi. Hi, Captain Avantika.
And Jamedi.
Jamedi's a few feet ahead. He's currently leading the path. They're about 20 feet from each other.
Oh, sorry.
I'll get Jamedi.
Sure.
Hey, Jamedi.
He's amazing. What?
Could you come here for a second? I have something I need to show you.
What is this? Is no
It's
bearing
really
on
important,
this.
though. It's super important.
Make a persuasion check.
22.
What is it?
Come here.
Hi.
You can see the temperature rising.
He begins to walk over in your direction.
Okay, now that we have you two together.
Yes.
Avantika's still like 10 feet from you, but it's like...
Okay,
What do
do
you
this very
want?
quietly.
Well, something that... Hi, it's me, Gilligan. Nice to see you again. Something that we used to do on our ship to relieve the tension
and raise morale
was we had a boat dance.
Yes, and it was specific when we were on really important missions and stuff.
Do you guys have one of those?
Not specific to the dance, no. Or to the boat, at the very least.
Oh, so you have dances though that you do to raise morale? Do you and Jamedi do one together?
Jamedi goes, this is completely inconsequential to me, and I need to keep an eye on the
Before
path.
the moment passes, I stand behind Caduceus's tall frame and quietly cast Detect Magic.
Wait, I'm going to stop you because I see what you're doing. You're probably not going to get anything off him, but he's got an undead vibe that I've been picking up.
Ja, verstehen. Okay.
I mean, I feel you. It's been making me pretty creeped out, to be honest. But I'm trying to hold together, keep chill, lots of chill. It's hot, but
still want to see what he's carrying.
You're really gonna let me know what you see, and we'll compare notes later.
And Beauregard, Caleb, and Caduceus, you hear what sounds like the cracking of branches and twigs and the shifting of jungle floor. Watches Jamedi kind of like, it's like 2 fingers in the air, and then
I creep up to just about 30 feet away.
You. I agree. And walk up.
Okay, so Beauregard and Caleb approach.
Why are you following me? Why are you doing that?
You hear coming from Jamedi, and as you look just past this clearing, you notice a troop of 4 figures making their way through the brush. You hear this like very low guttural clicking from one of them.
Actually, just in case.
Okay. Bow. Not. What? Keep an eye on them, okay? Let me know what happens. Shut up.
On who?
I mean.
On who? On our friends?
Yeah. Just forget it. Let's go.
20 for Jamedi.
Get it, Jamedi!
There you go.
That shit.
All right, so that's 8 damage with a short bow.
Sweaty.
Knees weak.
Mom's Jamedi.
Well done. Well done. That's fantastic. That's gonna end his turn.
My owl.
The dog is with Ruby.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Entschuldigung, I'm sorry.
Still a responsibility.
Now the owl is pitter-patting on Avantika's head.
It's just walking along the head?
Walking. Just not constantly, but just like in a cute way.
Caleb, I whispered in his ear. Make it poop.
Make it puke?
Make it poop on her head.
Are you putting the umlaut over the O's in the poop? Puke?
What are you talking about?
Puke.
Avantika puts the finger up towards Frumpkin.
Don't do it.
He flickers up to the finger
Make it poop on her finger.
Unrealistic.
and bats his, whatever I say, bats little 1 ounce owl eyes at Avantika.
Interesting.
Have you never seen an owl before?
Good, that's right. But one is so small and adorable and is docile.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cute.
Frumpkin poops.
Really? Hey, Avantika. How many dudes you think you killed?
What, in all of my years?
Yeah.
I don't know, I stopped counting it around maybe 50.
Also, we're being very quiet because we don't want to be heard, but while we're in here, Frumpkin, over a period of like 10 or 15 minutes, just goes, you see this, goes poop, 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 along the ground, poop, 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 hops onto Avantika's boot.
Okay.
Poop, 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 poop. Poop, 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 poop. Eventually stands on top of her dagger, and I cast Identify through touch of my familiar. And he weighs 1 ounce.
Yeah, that's true.
1 ounce is good. 1 ounce owl. It's the best band.
The 1 ounce owl.
Avantika, who, as mentioned before, was sleeping with one eye open, essentially, is kind of rested there. And then right as you begin to go through the actions of the casting, there is a flash of motion.
Oh no.
What is Frumpkin's armor class? What's Frumpkin's armor class?
I'm sure it's terrible. Hold on a second. Creature.
Go to the creature.
Is there a negative?
Creature tab at D&D Beyond.
It is 11.
Frumpkin suffers 5 points of piercing damage. Oh, no. As Avantika instinctually kind of
Why did you do that?
Why did you do that?
You know why I did that.
And do you know why I did that?
Hey.
Make a perception check.
Jesus.
20.
All right. Jamedi stays up to also take watch with you. Oh, nice. Kind of sits across the opposite way, and you're watching this way over his shoulder, and he's looking over yours, and doesn't engage in conversation unless you wish to.
Have you ever seen those cat things before?
I've seen them my first time passing through here, yes, but I was quieter.
Yeah, we're pretty loud sometimes.
You are correct. This has been a bit more challenging than I originally anticipated.
Have you thought at all about the Traveler?
No,
Do you want the pamphlet?
I am confused as to what you are speaking of.
The Traveler.
You are strange
He's everywhere.
and creepy.
He's really great. I'll give you a pamphlet. I get it out and I walk it over to him. Here.
It takes a solid 10 seconds of him just inspecting it and looking up at you and inspecting it before you kind of...
Just read it over. There's a lot of information in there. It's really important.
Much appreciated.
He's here right now.
tucks it away into the inside of his vest.
Traveler! If you're here, you should show him you're here so that he will like you even more than he already does. Just give it a minute.
You're not quite sure who it was on that side that let one loose in their sleep, but the inside of the dome suddenly has a very fragrant air.
Dutch oven. To be fair, we all had Indian for dinner tonight. So it could be any one of us.
He has cast his blessing upon us.
The most impressive of miracles.
How long have you been working for Captain Avantika?
Only for this journey and once before.
Do you like her a lot?
She pays well. Does not judge.
What were you doing before you were working for her?
Working for other people.
What's the craziest thing you've ever done?
The eyes kind of narrow at you. I was the only survivor to the escaping singular mines to the north area of the continent. How far have you traveled outside of the Empire?
Oh, well, I'm from the Menagerie Coast, actually.
All right.
Yeah, so that far.
I have delved into a few ruins. I have been lucky enough to survive by working alone. I have seen many friends fall and disappear. But I have made my way. What's the craziest thing you have seen?
Ever in my life?
Sure.
Oh shit, I've seen some crazy shit. This one time, I saw a bug carrying a piece of bread that was like 5 times its size. And he was carrying it upstairs, like up, and then he would turn, and then it would go up, and then he would turn.
Will wonders ever cease? I'm going to concentrate on our surroundings for the remainder of our shift, if you do not mind.
That's the Veldritch Blast at it, and I'm gonna close. At Cobra Kai.
Okay, go for it.
That feels a little. You know what? With my bonus action.
Fucking sling blade.
Yeah, no, just Eldritch Blast. All right.
That finishes Knott's go. Okay, in the silence here, Bo, after you've been like struck by this terrible psychic pain in your face and the poison kind of courses through your veins, you look before you can see the one Yuan-Ti pureblood in front of you already damaged is kind of, and it's pulling this crooked dagger out of this sheath in the side. And then suddenly in a flash out of nowhere behind, you just see blades go whoosh, whoosh. And you watch as Avantika, who was previously invisible still from the spell,
That's right, she went.
appears as she does 3 main strikes from behind.
Before we go down the fountain, I'm gonna just walk past Jametti again.
He's turned around. He's still kind of chewing the bit of jerky. And he puts his short bow over his shoulder and gathers his things. He's loaded up with like pouches and sacks. He's not designed to be a combatant. He's designed to be a traveler.
Yeah. Oh boy, it's gonna be scary down there. Now would be. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out the snake idol thing. And I'm gonna do a quick prayer to my god. Do you want to pray with me? Do you worship this one too?
I am not a religious man, but I appreciate your sense of inclusion.
I just want you to be part of the team. Inclusion. We're a tolerant group.
He looks over at the dead serpent people jammed into holes.
So it would seem.
All evidence to the fucking contrary.
There's like a Yuan-Ti woman hanging by her arm off the wall.
Fucking arms in it. Her foot is like just her grabbing naked Yuan-Ti guy.
Maybe not tolerant. As much as
milk in his face.
That are within a foot of where you stand. They're somewhat beginning to ferment.
One up and smell it?
Yeah. It's the interior is very it's like a bright orange yellow color. It looks fleshy like the inside of a mango almost, and it smells sweet. It smells sweet, but it has definitely that kind of that turning point where it's starting to get a little bit.
No.
What if they eat this fruit and that's how they? I'm not there.
Don't take.
Snake people.
No. Not.
I'm gonna lick it.
It tastes kind of sweet and tangy.
These trees grow in total darkness.
You're not there either.
Just taking a little bite.
Okay, you nibble a little bit. Tastes pretty good. It's got that tang to it. This kind of irony, almost tang aftertaste to it.
Irony.
I'll just eat one.
Irony. Irony.
You eat it. Okay. What are you guys doing?
Well, that's a good one.
Thanks. I'm gonna let the trees know that we're here.
Yeah.
No.
About a minute's passed since you've eaten that fruit. And you start feeling a little tingly on the inside of your body.
Yummy.
Tingly how?
Does it burn when you pee?
You turn to look at Caleb and like it's crazy. His hair's like purple. Now it's pink. Now it's orange. Now it's purple.
Oh no!
Oh shit.
What is happening?
What
Your
happened?
eyes are like big black
His pupils
saucers.
are purely dilated.
Your eyes are like, they're normally like, tea saucers, but now they're like full plates. Are you all right?
As you're glancing around, what little bit of the light orbs that are kind of slowly drifting, they're like leaving trails behind.
Yes. You should try some of this fruit, guys.
Make a perception check.
Oh god.
With disadvantage because you...
Because you're high as fuck.
6.
6? Okay.
I believe you just ate
What's going on?
Shit on my face.
Are you okay?
Do that more. It feels nice, the wind. Do that more. Slower.
How much have you had from that bowl of yours?
No, just let me enjoy this. Man, I just had one of these fruits, and I think I know everything now.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't matter if Jametti's alive or dead.
Wait, what?
We're all gonna be dead at some point.
I think he's clearly messed up. Did you have a
At
fresh
this point,
fruit?
Jametti and Avantika have managed to join you below in the chamber.
Oh. Hey.
Hello?
Hey.
Jametti's like, really well. He pulls out a torch and lights it up to kind of, it's very everyone like turns slowly to nod.
It's like Rocket Raccoon going through the dimensional rifts.
Already a merry-go-round of lights going around Knott's head.
too much.
Can we get the shield?
Who's got one awesome shot?
We do.
We do?
We do.
What's your awesome shot?
It's a little something we like to call Fluffernutter.
I want to say yes. I just don't know if now's the time to be demoing a new thing.
Can you pitch it to us in 30 seconds or less?
A quick pitch would be really good.
Yeah. Do you have a one sheet?
Or should, you know what? Fluffernutter sounds great.
No. I'm so high right now, but I know that is not a good idea. What is it?
What are you holding?
What is that?
I'm pulling out the little keg of black powder that Dot stole from the pirate ship.
And I've got my explosive arrow knocked.
Okay,
Starting to get a picture. Yeah.
a couple quick thoughts. When we tried to blow up the tree, didn't work so well. 2, load-bearing beams in a closed room with no windows, so it's gonna hurt us too.
Fluffernutter.
Okay, the name is great. I'm just thinking maybe in practical use, not the best idea here.
Think about this.
I'm the only one doing that.
She throws it. I fire. It explodes. No structural damage. Only damage to the creature. That's how I see it going down.
Okay.
We're whispering all of this very
If
quietly.
you miss, though, the ground is covered in water, so the powder will get real wet.
Hold for just a second.
Say
Distance. How many people are seriously considering Fluffernutter? Show of hands. Can we put that to bed now?
I think that's about 15 to 16 votes if my eyes don't deceive me. Governor? I can't. I've never been thinking clearer than right now. I see this working big time.
I could invoke duplicity in there and then inflict the wounds with my duplicate.
Or carry the keg in with your duplicate.
Duplicate is a very good idea.
All right, top of the round. The surface of the well begins to kind of bubble and move, and you watch as the water seems to rise up like the surface bubbles up and begins to pour out on the side as you watch this large snake-like serpent head arise. And another.
What?
And another.
What?
Is it a
And another.
What?
Is it a Hydra?
You see emerging from the center of this chamber.
Oh my god, what the fuck is that?
Hydra.
The true guardian, the warden, spoken of in the text above.
So who's
It can't use
Are you ready?
You first.
Yeah.
Yeah, no reactions. None of them.
Should I do it?
Slow is nasty.
I mean, no, because I mean, oh.
Should I do it?
I'm high.
Not told me to do this. Fluffernutter!
The legend of the Mighty Nine.
But I throw it high.
Throw it high.
How high are the
Towards the head.
Make a strength check.
Oh my god. Don't roll one, don't roll one, don't roll one.
Shut up! Don't curse it! 11.
Not roll an attack roll.
Do I get any advantages?
No, you do not.
12.
We're almost in sync here.
So, the barrel, the bolt, and detonates somewhere on the opposite side of the chamber as the barrel into the water of the well in the center there. You hear a splash of water.
It's good that we burned those 2 actions for that. I feel like that was really useful. I think that was.
That would have been spectacular if it had worked.
That would have been.
That didn't go as well as I had hoped.
Great
this.
touch me. I have this Hydra miniature at home, and when I get home, I'm gonna go to my office and I'm gonna throw him into the neighbor's yard.
I'm sorry.
Yasha, please. Yasha, please.
Yeah, it's been a fucking thing in here. What's so funny? Hey, zip it. The Hydra, did it back into the hole? Or
No,
is it
it's
still out?
it's currently slung over the side of the staircase that curves down into the subterranean chamber. Yeah.
So,
How do they make you sound differently? It feels like you sound different because of the gloves. But I think it's just in my head.
yeah, just in your head. I just,
And what you see are 3 massive carved murals on that wall, and this far side, mirroring the placement of the 3 pillars. These murals stand probably 15 feet tall and about 20 or so feet wide. And you can see them depicting these giant, faintly detailed and gently colored scenes, though a lot of the coloration seems to have faded with just dust and time. But you can see some of the stone has been stained or painted to show some variation in color. So you can make out the simple shapes to kind of fill out this much larger tapestry on the stone before you. The one on that far wall, as you come across it, you see what looks to be a crowd of people. Simple design, but definitive. Heads and shoulders and legs. You can see the humanoid form, and there are many, many clustered around the base of this mural. Above them, you can see what looks to be 3 larger humanoid figures that are haloed by some sort of what looks like a light or an aura that kind of elevates them beyond this crowd. 3 figures. And then over the top of that, taking up probably 60% or more of this mural, you see what looks to be a humongous bird of dark purple flame that is wreathing the sky above this crowd. You see its wings curved upward and then bent down. You see where the wings end, fire just curls and burns, and the feathers and the edges of these wings definitively come up into a purple and dark gray flame with bits and specks of deep red. At the top, you can see where its head looks down, the beak long and pointed. There are 3 eyes across its face, and in each of these eyes you see set a rather large onyx stone.
The bird?
A large flaming bird.
Like a phoenix?
Like a phoenix, but dark purples and grays and deep reds in color. And you can see a very similar layout. You see a very familiar showing of a crowd, much like the previous one, though some of their shapes have different shoulders. It looks almost like their clothing or whatever their accoutrements are different. So it seems to insinuate a different people. And above them, 3 more figures stand, shown larger and emanating some sort of radiance or aura. And above that, you see what looks to be this Gesundheit, this giant coiled serpent of scale, fin, and eyes made of amber. Each of these eyes is a separate amber piece, about that big around, or the size of a large gold piece, all along the coil of its body. And you see at the very top where it's rearing up, this very kind of long, thin, pointed, almost lizard-like maw opens up, and behind it, this giant tidal wave is curling and frozen in place, looking like it's about to bear down on and either destroy or sweep away the crowd below it.
Question, does the eyes in this picture bear any resemblance to the tattoos I spied through the window when I eavesdropped through Frumpkin on Flawed and Avantika's conversation?
Very much so.
Very much so, okay.
2 eyes on this one?
On this one, he's curving around, Bo and Caduceus, as you walk to the other wall, that side of the chamber. There you see what looks to be a curling, thick worm of some kind. Its folded skin and tooth-like scales burrowing up to produce mountains over the crowd, cliff faces made of stone and rock that appear to be breaking and about to plummet into the crowd below. There, beneath it, you see 3 figures, once more elevated. The same kind of
wreath around them of some sort of radiance or light. The people below don't seem scared. There's no sign of fleeing or fear, just a gathering. But you see within this large, terrifying worm-like creature, its form bulbous with these strange protrusions, these spine-like scales that you can imagine would pull it through the broken earth. You see this ring of teeth that accentuates where its mouth is. And on the inside, you can see what looks to be where a tongue would be. There instead are 3 eyes across the inside of its mouth. These appear to be made of some kind of ivory that seems to have made some sort of a living down here in the subterranean water-filled chamber. And as you're pushing through and scraping around, your hand scoops this large bit of grime from in front of you, and you can see what looks to be a stone relief at the very, very base of the bottom, a concave, spherical shape about the size of a fist. She notices it, looks at it, and looks at you. What are you doing?
Can I try and like stick my hand in my chest?
You can.
Does it go anywhere?
You go and jam your hand, and it's hitting your armor. It's
yeah.
You have a full-on leather plate right there.
I don't know what to do. Like the size of a fist?
Yeah, or like
like a sphere, right?
It's about that big, and you can see it is concave. It's about the size of the stone that you had found.
Yeah, that's in my body. Poop it out. I don't know how. I don't have an eject button. Can I summon the falchion?
You can. The falchion appears in your hand, and as you do, this bright yellow light is now emanating from the center of its hilt, where the eye itself is glowing with its own lantern-like source. At which point Avantika is now rushing towards that thing.
Things about to happen, and I just jam the eye.
Make an initiative roll, because you gave her enough time to get it right next to you, and now we're going to see who gets to it first.
Oh, 6.
6? Yeah. Her hand, she's now pulled the glove from her right hand, and as you go to thrust the hilt of the falchion down towards it, you see her hand reach out and just manage to cover the little space first. As it does, you can see her body kind of like tense for a second, and where her hand is, suddenly this bright, familiar yellow glow seems to now spread from between her fingers, sending beams off in multiple directions. You see her face looks like aghast and shock for a second, and a large bubble kind of escapes from her mouth. She looks over to you with this kind of dazed look and pulls her hand back, and there you can see in the palm, there's this large open wound where like blood's beginning to just kind of like cloud the dark water below, and there in the center of this hole you can see one of the cloven stones there. At which point you see a bunch of these runes begin to glow in 3 different directions from around the base of up the sides, up the chamber. The rest of you, kind of looking around, suddenly see this kind of dull blue glow begin to get brighter and brighter from within this well, and you watch as these runes that you guys didn't notice except for the 2 of you before begin to suddenly begin to glow up the sides. The 3 pillars suddenly begin to spiral and glow as all these runes come to life. And you see as Avantika pulls back and looks at her hand, she looks back at you, her eyes kind of blink for a second, and she just smiles, and you hear this earth-shuddering, soulful crack sound just rocks the entirety of the temple. You watch as bubbles suddenly, like this one burst of air that had been trapped in the grime below is all immediately released as one, kind of rise up to the water above, and you can look around and you can see the interior of this. There is a heavy black crack in the stone of this chamber. As you guys all hear this earth-shattering BAM! Dust kind of falls off the ceiling of this chamber from the inside. You look and you watch as the pillars themselves still stand, but there are multiple places in this chamber now where these large black cracks now seem to have snaked their way in one instant burst across parts of the wall.
Picking the lock.
The glowing runes blink out. Avantika is now swimming frantically up towards the surface.
Frantically?
Like, just trying to kick. She lost quite a bit of air.
I'll go grab her.
You go grab her? Okay. Make a grapple check. Make an athletics check.
Stone cold.
Oh, 7.
7. No, she kicks right out of your grasp. She looks back with an expression of surprise.
Pointing at the ground.
Make a deception check.
Travis, you have your fate too.
Natural 20.
Okay, she looks confused and continues swimming upward, not reading too much into it. 15? Yeah. Glance. I mean, you can see the pillar that holds the fountain at the top, and there are the stairs still part of it. And you can see where it's up there, but whatever mechanism rocks it there. Yeah.
That's fine. Is everybody outside? Is everybody outside? Is everybody in the chamber now?
Damn it!
The central chamber is now. The water has now reached the base of the orchard.
I'm gonna hit the button to reclose to close.
You don't know the button. You never found it.
Who did?
I don't know who did.
It was not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 plus 2 equals 9.
Shit.
Actually, Caduceus, I need you to make one too because you did cast the spell Spirit Guardians while underwater.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I did.
So she rolled in 9.
She rolled 9 total. Just was drowning.
Jesus.
You see as she's swimming and she's like begins kicking in the water before
I rolled an 8.
You rolled an 8? Caduceus as well. They both swim towards the staircase and you see them both beginning to clutch at their throats.
Can I cast I got a crazy idea.
Can you use your full movement to get there? Ford, you're up.
Okay. Looking around, still having plenty of air in my lungs, I turn around and see Jester starting to panic, and I know that she has the key. So I will reach out, grab her face, and bring her into a kiss. And I will blow all of my air into her lungs.
Are you upside down right now?
All right.
Shape of water.
Yeah.
She is no longer drowning, but you have to make a con save at the end of your turn.
Okay, fair enough.
So that's your action to do that. So you breathe some of your air into there. All right. You still have movement.
Okay.
Fumbles through her sack, pulls out the key and gets it, and so. This is how the ending of the first Poseidon movie should have happened. Because all of this water pressure that is built up at the top of this temple is suddenly released as the latch, and this geyser of water thrusts all of you rapidly out the top.
Money shot.
Oh, God.
You all get shot about a good 15, 20 feet up.
Oh, no.
And you have a look down at what you can see is the temple, which you can now see these large cracks that have kind of set on the sides, where bits of water are kind of just pouring out through small cracks. But now this large geyser that's thrust in the air, and you all begin to plummet and fall.
I cast Featherfall on myself, on Not, on Jester, on Beauregard, and on Ford.
Okay.
It's my last spell slot.
Take CAD. I'm
I
good.
already did it. Doesn't matter. That's what I did. It's who I know, not what the hit points
on
exist.
everybody else.
That would have been the end of me.
Yeah, that would have been it.
That would have been number 2 done right there. Instant TKO.
So you now begin to hear the sound, this familiar clacking and sound of the lizard men that you saw in the jungle before. Who's doing what?
That's amazing.
We're still over at Avantika, who has her one ungloved hand. You can see kind of the gap where the open wound. There's just a little bit of blood trickling down her forearm where the eye once was. And she kind of looks at it and closes her fist, and closes her eyes, and you feel the rowboat suddenly pick up speed. And you watch as the water and the waves now kind of give an additional thrust, like the ocean itself is rising and pushing the boat forward. And you watch Avantika kind of open her eyes and smile, and looks over at Ford and goes, "Well, better luck next time, huh?" And Avantika shows her hand.
was a resounding success. And I would say that our new compatriots have proven their worth with flying colors.
She goes and gives like a, ow,
I'm gonna go to sleep and probably, throw up.
Liking it all.
You're gonna be my strongest acolyte. You're gonna preach the words of the water.
It's terrible. No, it's really not. I mean, look how good you're doing, right?
You're thriving, surviving.
This was the worst day of my life.
I can't believe it.
Your whole life.
I mean, as far as I can remember, I mean, this was a really bad day. And water had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, okay.
Out back that opens up, and they're in the balcony. Avantika's standing on the balcony, and you can see there's this like column of water that's rising up out of the ocean, and she's nude, and it's just washing her. Like she's kind of in the process. She's in the throes of kind of manipulating this water. She's just learning whatever this new gifted power that she has, and is just her hair is twirling up into the stream, and it's this beautiful almost dance between her and this elemental force that she now has. And she kind of looks back over her shoulder at you, knowing that you've been there for at least a couple minutes. I'll be just a moment.
Don't rush on my account.
Your blade is very interesting. I knew one other who had a blade very similar. Referred to it as the Sword of Fathoms.
Sword of Fathoms.
The previous chosen.
Can you tell me more about this person who wielded it?
His name was Vandlin. A fine sailor and a foolish coward he ended up to be, but he was the one that opened my eyes to the destiny of Okatoa. We traveled together for a number of years before he just abandoned and absconded with something important. Been trying to find out where he went, but he is very slippery, and wherever he is, either what you have in your sword is what he took away, or wherever he is, he has the third with him.
And this Vandrin, you say he told you about the Sword of Fathoms, or he had a Sword of Fathoms?
He carried the same blade?
Carried the same one. Was there an area, a destination, a direction that you last knew that he was going? Is it in our interest to try and find him?
It is very much in our interests. We were going to go and visit this very island some time ago, when he was the only one to have one of these orbs.
How did you find, if you don't mind my asking, yours?
Well, I had to kill a number of men. It was being auctioned off in Port du Malais. And there was a collector. Word had gotten to us that this artifact was sold off to this individual. And, well, needless to say, he put in a bit of a struggle.
I'm sure he did.
But thankfully, this Collector enjoyed nights long at sea, and that happens to be our specialty. Who else was on this ship with you?
Various other sailors. Our captain.
Who is your captain?
Captain Twitchwood. Do you know him?
She smiles. I appreciate that you are a very accomplished liar. But so am I. And the only reason I still sit here before you with the dozen or so scars I carry is because I have been very keen at seeing through the same skill.
A 23 level skill? Okay. I feel like you know the rest of this story, and I'm at a disadvantage.
I don't necessarily. I have not seen Vandren since he absconded with this. Many things. But he would not travel without both that sword you carry and the orb he stole from us. So wherever that ship has sunken, there's a very good chance that it has the third missing orb. Do you remember where the ship sunk? She reaches down and pulls out a map and rolls it out on the table before you. Put your map up.
Yeah.
Splash acid on it. Got this.
Very well. And she kind of leans forward with the wine glass very close and goes, "It's been a very long day. I think rest is in order."
I would agree.
She takes a big, long drink of wine, sets it down. Well, there are ways to complete a hopeful future pact together. Many different ways. So,
fate to tentacles.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. Yeah, I'll go for it. I will. Oh god. Okay. Yep. I will keep Avantika's hand and walk around the desk. And I will try the old lean in and see what the reaction is.
Man, all right.
Oh man, I'm getting some Twitchwood right here.
Quickly, her hand grabs the back of your head and pulls you in.
Oh, shit.
Very mixed about this whole thing.
Yeah.
She's a very powerful woman, and you find yourself very quickly overpowered. And you are allowed to... for the sake of brevity. Not the most restful evening you've had, but an evening is had.
How many points of exhaustion?
Make a constitution check.
No, I'm never going to do that in a game. Sure, go for it then. That's your own day.
16.
No.
You succeed the check, but you disappoint your dungeon master.
So, I wouldn't call it a romantic evening.
Sure.
But a very
An adrenaline
union of two business partners of a similar goal.
The sound of fish slapping against. They're both of the sea. Right in the blowhole.
And we fade back.
See? Do I make my way back to quarters before sunup? I don't know if I want to stay the entire evening there.
You do fall asleep together.
Oh, okay.
Unless you choose to not wish to.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna stay. I'm not gonna stay.
Okay.
No, you don't walk out. You don't walk out of the captain's quarters at sunup. Plus, we're super tired. So I will leave and try and stealth back into the quarters with everyone else.
I have a passive perception of 18.
I know.
Hopefully you're super asleep.
I know. Roll a stealth check.
Come on, compromise, guys. 18.
Fuck.
All right. You carefully and quietly tiptoe your way through the hallway to your assigned quarters, of which you are sharing with whom? Caduceus. Caduceus, one eye suddenly opens as you are keen to be somewhat aware, living alone out in the middle of a dangerous wood, to any sort of aberrant noise in the vicinity. You hear the faint creak of very gentle footsteps as Ford makes his way into your chambers.
Can I figure out what happened just by looking at him?
Yeah.
Bad sense of smell.
Well, with your bad decisions.
As you all rest, a long rest at sea, as the Squall Eater and the Mistake make their way towards Dark Toe to the far west. We'll end tonight's game there. We'll pick up there next week. And also, everyone levels up. Everyone's level 7 now.
Cheers!
Oh, that's a great ending. That's a good finish.
It's a good So to that degree, while I have you guys here, let's roll some hit points. Sorry, roll some hit points for those who are present.
Do we recover